the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting intrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a US
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. Hashtag DMDMW. I am your host, the infallible Phil Marks, and it is that time of the year, the most wonderful time of the year, the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards 2025. We are here to react to them all. We are also going to talk about Royce Keys, aka Powerhouse Hobbs' age, his real age being exposed, showing that Dave Meltzer is a fucking liar, and how WBD exposed Dave Meltzer as well. So strap in, ladies and germs. It's a special Friday edition, depending on when you're listening to this, I guess. Time Cop! Hit like, hit subscribe, hit retweet, hit 5 stars, whatever you do, and get your flutes in the chat. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment that turned into its own show, and oh boy, will it be sweet today. Will it be low-hanging fruit, nonetheless sweeter? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week! Let's fucking go! It's award season, bitch! So, guys, right away to kick things off on this show, we are just going to dive into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter 2025 awards. We have the full list of winners, courtesy of the Drain Maker. Drain Bamager, I think, was his Twitter, but then, like, I think all this Nicolo Piccolo stuff popped off, and then everyone started switching their handles up and stuff. I don't know what happened. Motherfuckers disappeared and stuff. Yeah, and guys, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. That's my plug, and there's bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. Believe that. Go figure. He's so dumb that we got bonus episodes. So, guys, we're gonna go through these awards, and they're exactly what you thought they would be. Okay, Dave is lost his mind, and you know, a couple years ago, or it was last year or 2 years ago, 24, I can't remember. I guess that would be like last year for his awards, as far as his awards are concerned, because they come out in February. Dave Meltzer, you know, he did vote WWE for some things and sort of, you know, convinced his audience and had to convince them, hey, like, you should vote Triple H because look at the business they're doing and all of that, right? So in fairness, he did do that. It was undeniable, and I think this year it's undeniable as well. If we're talking about like promoter of the year, which we're going to get into some of these, it's like, man, if the promoter of the year, if people don't even know their name, then that's not promoter of the year. And I'm going to break this shit all down, and I'll explain why that makes sense when we get to it. But yeah, we have the full list here of all of the awards that were handed out, and boy, are there a bunch. Like, I thought I had a lot here at PWT, and of course these are meaningless awards. Like, not that I have to put this disclaimer, but all the Dave simps out there, like, yeah, we know this shit doesn't mean anything. Dave is the most triggered person on earth, so we are going to make fun of his awards.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
And it just shows you that everybody who votes in his things are retarded. Like, how do you read him, take anything he says seriously, even if you just read his shit? I'm sorry. And I know people who read his shit, and I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but it's like, even if you just read it like unironically, how do you take it serious when you see shit like this? Well, it's voted on by the users. Yeah. And they're mental. Dave has blocked out every and anyone who doesn't align with his way of thinking about shit, or he'll just completely ignore them. And so, which is totally fine. That's his prerogative. But the fact he like sleuths out, like recently he put out a tweet, which we probably don't have time to cover on this show today. But he quote tweeted and was like, I thought Brian was going back to WWE. And it's like, what trenches of the IWC are you slogging and slushing through? What sludge of the IWC are you in the midst of? Vanity searching your name and looking for what people are talking about wrestling on fucking Twitter. Like, where are you where you saw anybody say that Danielson was going to come back to WWE at any fucking point? You know, he's completely lost his mind. And this is like the greatest start to a year ever for Dave. His fall off has been uncanny, but he's had his greatest leap. He's had his greatest bound forward or into the depths than ever before in 2026. And these awards are just ridiculous. Now, Dave gets heat for this. And again, it's like, well, you know, people vote on this, Brian. People vote on this. And it's like, they do, but you influence these motherfuckers. You sit there and lie by omission. You leave things out of matches, like we've covered it. You know, Okada hits Takeshita with the screwdriver right in front of the ref. You completely don't even mention that in your play-by-play review. Your shit's riddled with typos. You don't fucking have an editor. You edit your own shit. The articles from people that Dave hires that are like freelance workers or whatever that work on his website, they all think the same as him. We've covered like this dude who took a photograph of his, look at this photograph. Every time they do, they fucking laugh. Why is my penmanship so bad? And what's going on in Davey's head? No, but like, listen, that guy, like, you know, he took a picture of his shit and it all aligned with Dave. Like, Mystico's the wrestler of the year and all of these fucking things. And the problem with that is like people can't name matches, and you're going to see a fucking trend throughout this. You can't be promoter of the year. Here's the thing, right? You go to Mexico, you say that promoter's name. Yeah, everyone knows him. You go to America, you say the promoter's name. No one fucking knows him. Go to Japan, no one knows him. Go to the UK, no one would know that off the top of their head. However, if you go to Japan or Mexico or the UK or the USA or Canada and you ask anybody who Triple H is, they fucking know, and they know what he's. Oh yeah, doesn't he run the WWE now? Oh yeah, Triple H. He's a wrestler. Like, and we're talking wrestling fans, even not just like in general. I'm not talking about like yelling out in a mall, hey, do you know who Triple H is? But I'm just talking like if you went to wrestling fans, most wrestling fans can't name you like 5 Mystico matches this year. And all they can say is MJF. So how the fuck is that? Well, he drew all of this money in the same building, cheap ass tickets. It's like NXT, and they're not sold out all the time. But Dave just sits there and goes, they're sold out. Prove it wrong. And then the CMLL owns the arena, so they could just say it's fucking sold out. We saw when Bad Bunny was there were empty seats, and I'm not even shitting on them. Good for them for selling it out every fucking week, quote unquote. They can just say it's sold out to Dave Meltzer because he's a dumb fuck, and then he'll report about it favorably. Now, I'm not trying to even shit on CMLL. I'm not trying to shit on Mystico. I'm not trying to shit on any of the boys or girls in any of this or any of the promotions. It's not their fault that Dave puts the ick on them. But some of this shit is just ludicrous. Luda. Okay? So we're going to get into this stuff. And that's my little precursor to everything. Okay? So the Wrestling Observer newsletter 2025 awards, full list of winners. Should we start from the bottom and then go? No, we'll just start from the top. Fuck it. Wrestler of the year, Mystico, Brian. Mystico's the
oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So Mystico, I mean, is he an awesome wrestler? Sure. Physically, he's good in the ring. He's obviously got charisma. You know, at one point he was in WWE and they did want to push him and make him like their next Rey Mysterio type guy. Did he flop in WWE? Yeah. Does he understand? He was Sin Cara, for those of you who don't know, at least if I'm not mistaken. I know that there's like Drilistico and Mystico and Mystico and all this. I don't fucking know. And I don't know. I'm like Lex Lugo over here. So Mystico, tremendous wrestler. I'm sure people who wrestle him are like, yeah, he's awesome. I'm sure he's a big draw in Mexico. All of those things. Who is comparable? Who would I pick as wrestler of the year? I don't know, man. I just think that I think everybody kind of unanimously was like John Cena. Had in 2025, it's like every one of his matches were marquee. He put down a bunch of memorable bangers. Yeah, he's yelling his spots out, but he's a bigger draw than Sin Cara, than Mystico, right? So, and you don't have to agree. It's all subjective, but these are like people who voted on this are the people still clinging on to Dave and his vision of what pro wrestling should be. And we can tell that he influences them every year because Dave comes out and says, hey guys, I mean, Triple H, it's undeniable. Then they all just go, okay, Dave. Then they just vote with what the fuck he's saying. And then this year, it's like you see the same people, Wrestling Observer, Wrestle Purist, Sports Illustrated. And Sports Illustrated was just co-opted by Tony Khan, but they're all just being delusional about AEW in so many ways. Like you can't tell me Hangman Adam Page's story, quote unquote, in 25 was the best stories going on in AEW. Even Dave says that at the start of this year in 26, they're kind of doing stories, Brian. I think all these multiple title challengers is really making it hot. Implying what? That Hangman wasn't doing hot shit. So it's just none of it aligns, none of it makes sense. And Dave just flip-flops around wherever he sees fit, and he's just really copping out with this CMLL thing that if Brandon Thurston, like in America, he takes lawsuits out on buildings and shit to get the ticker counter so he knows the true attendance of he's done that. In Mexico, can he do that? Like somebody audit this and I don't want them to audit. I'm not like, again, it sounds like I'm hating on CMLL, but listen, you guys own the fucking building. You could just tell Dave he's some American asshole journalist. Yeah, we sell it out every fucking week. We sell it out 4 times a week, Dave. Sold out. And then some people shit on it and go, well, the tickets are only $8. Well, it should be. It's a fucking local. And it's awesome that wrestling's so goddamn popular. But this is all I'm saying. If you went up to a crowd of Mexico fans, they would also go, we know who John Cena is. If you went to the Mexico fans with fans of everything else, they won't all necessarily know who Mystico is. I bet not even every AEW fan knows what the fuck Mystico is. So I just think objectively, you have to look at things like that. Okay, subjectively, these guys want to follow Dave and vote Mystico, fine. And I'm not even trying to shit on Mystico. He's a solid wrestler. He's solid at doing the moves, and the stuff he did with MJF was decent, although it more kind of blew. It felt hotter on like MLW, and then when they went to Mexico than anything else. It's not like AEW capitalized off that. So good for CMLL. I guess Mystico gets the nod there. Moving along, most outstanding, Konosuke Takeshita. So in 2025, the most outstanding wrestler. And what does outstanding mean? So just moves. Okay, so if Dave just admits that it's just based on moves, okay, maybe he's right. Maybe Takeshita, you could argue, is really good at throwing flying knees and suplexes, and he transitions into power bumps. He's got strength and athleticism and speed for sure. For sure. Okay, I'm with you there. But then if we're going into selling, okay, he's pretty good. I don't rate him one of the best, but he's an above average wrestler for sure. When we're talking about promos in Japanese, maybe, but Dave, you're not sitting there watching this shit in Japanese. And if you are, that's fine. But it's like, you can't sit there and pretend that he's like lacing up promos that everyone's like, oh my God. That's why they literally have Callus there. And all of these other characters surrounding Okada and Takeshita, which I won't even argue. Like, I think Takeshita has been booked for Tony Khan booking. He's been booked like well for Tony Khan in AEW and whatnot. I won't even hate on Takeshita. But again, most outstanding. I don't know, man. There's been some really outstanding. And then is this guys and girls? Because if we're talking the ladies, I mean, come on. Did Sol Ruka, was she more outstanding? Like, who? I'm really trying to think. It's hard because everyone's over this too. This is when Dave does this shit. He waits till February. We need to make sure we get everything in, Brian. Right? But he waits until everybody's already done talking about their awards and last year. But again, everything is connected this year. You'll notice to AEW, CMLL, and New Japan. And so he's pushing hard. And again, Dave is just going, if he thinks he's fighting for the little guy, I don't know, man. There's people who are dead set convinced he's getting paid. People in the business are dead set convinced he's getting fucking paid. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say that's not the case. Let's say he just thinks he's sticking up for the little guy. It again, just say that then. Or if the voters think they're sticking up for like, yeah, we got to go anti the Fed in every regard, even though like, yes, our ticket sales expensive. Yes. Is the demand high except for they're gouging for these PLEs and shit? Absolutely. Is everything perfect? No. Is WWE making stars, presenting wrestling the coolest, most sports-based? Looks like the Super Bowl to me. Shit, everybody cries about fucking commercials. You guys watch the Super Bowl? You see how many commercials were in that thing? Holy shit. And it's part of the fun in that aspect, not when you're watching Raw every goddamn week. Thank God for Netflix. NordVPN.com/Pro Wrestle Times. Get on Canadian time and watch everything on Netflix, dude. But yeah, it's the point I'm making is I don't even fucking know because I'm just here ranting and raving and and I'm going to lose my mind going through these. But yes, definitely. I just forget what the fuck I was talking. Oh yeah, just overarching. Yeah, whatever. You guys get it. Let's get into tag team of the year here. Young Bucks. So again, just a team where it's like, didn't they take 2 breaks in 2025? I thought they took 2 breaks during 2025 where they're like, we don't know if we're going to do this, whatever. And what did they do that was memorable? Like, did they have the best tag team of the match? I don't even think they did. It's hard to even think about any fucking matches in 2025. I swear. It's like we're all done with this. We're all done with last year. Dave just creeps in and then everyone's like, maybe he's right. But the Young Bucks in 25, I don't know. Even when I think about 25, I'm like, well, FTR like pile drove Beth Phoenix and shit, and they had the titles, and the Bucks just like fucked off to Japan. And then they took off for a while when their babyface turn was so goofy. And like the thing where they were showing like their bank total and shit on the screen, like that was so stupid. So I just don't know if you can say that's the best. Now in WWE side, I mean, tag teams are rough. But again, if this is encompassing men and women, Dave just hates women or what? I would say like some of these women's tag title reigns could have possibly meant more than the fucking Bucks. If I'd have to like Wikipedia tag teams and go through each fucking section to really see if he's cooking with that. But the Young Bucks, I just don't think so. I think that personally, I'm happy that they're kind of doing their old baby face thing and they're just kind of having their baby face flip matches because that's really all they could do. We saw what they could do on TV week to week when they're trying to do promos and characters and all that shit, and it just stunk the whole time. And so when they're doing this, like we'll just have ladder matches and fucking triple threat tag flippy matches. I mean, yeah, sickos eat that up. It's fun. It was fun back in the day. I mean, that's sort of, is it good for the ratings and shit? I don't think so, but hey. Best on interviews, Hangman. So best on interviews. So name the interviews Hangman gave. Name them. Name the interviews that Hangman Page gave last year. Because this year, all he did was put his fucking foot in his mouth and get a bunch of heat with fucking John Alba. That's all he's done in 2026. So do you mean best on interviews? Does that mean like best promos? Does that mean like, oh, the guy who's like the best at talking his shit? Because like, what does that mean best on interviews? Last year, again, not to go to John Cena, but when I think interviews, I think Rhodes with his podcast did a bunch of fucking interviews last year that got everyone talking. But is it the best? I don't know. And then Cena did every fucking show, did Giga Chad Van Vliet, did Joe Rogan, and like actually made like he went and did a bunch of was he the best on them? I don't fucking know. Is it a work or a shoot? So for work interviews. So did he have a sit down with JR? I'm not remembering. He had a sit down with Renee Paquette. I'm not remembering. I just don't know. So promotion of the year, CMLL. Again, the promotion of the year. So why? Because they sold out the same building a bunch of times in 2025. Meanwhile, okay, so again, how do we quantify the promotion of the year? So storylines, the in-ring action, at least this is how I'm qualifying it. I don't know what Dave comes up with. I don't know how, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this shit. It's just promotion of the year, Brian. Try and pick the right one by listening. Say in my fucking newsletter. You should pick these.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Because I like them. Because Tony Khan. I just don't get it. So promotion of the year. So I'm qualifying that. Your boy Phil is qualifying that by saying, listen, in-ring action, stories, and again, it doesn't mean everything's flawless. It just means overall, who is the best. So the story, the drama, the in-ring action, promos, I guess, but that sort of fits into the story category and drama category. And we're talking like drawing houses. And it's funny because Dave will sit there and use drawing ability when it fits his narrative. So he'll go, CMLL's the best promotion. Right, everybody? They sold out this same building this many times. But then he will say that thing, the peak of WWE's over, when they're still doing the same number for Raws and SmackDowns and whatnot. Okay, now Vegas overall has taken a hit. Double or Nothing isn't even in Vegas, and they're doing a show there in Vegas where they have like 1,700. They're set up for like 1,700. AEW, or just past. I can't, one or the other. We were just looking at it on the live show last night. Time Cop. So it's like, Dave, write the same thing about AEW then. He won't. And this is how he controls these fucking narratives. All of his sycophants know if they don't vote CMLL, Dave's going to get mad. Well, they did sell the building a bunch. Okay, so just going by Dave's metric, we're quantifying it in like drawing ability or whatever. So try going to a different city all over the fucking country every single week for live television on Netflix, being in the top 10 on Netflix and selling out in each of these different places, and the amount of money WWE made is tenfold. Now, I'm not the one chalking it up to all that. Dave Meltzer is, when he goes, oh, well, he drew a bunch at this building, so he drew the same people a bunch of times. That rules. That's awesome. I'm not hating on that at fucking all. But just objectively speaking, wouldn't like reaching the widest amount of people all over a country, selling out. And here's the thing, like SmackDown does, even on like a bad SmackDown, it's like 6,000, 8,000, 9,000 people. And people go, oh, look, it's a downswing. So this is like 2 shows they're doing every week. I just don't know. And then promotion of the year. Okay, so the in-ring action. If you go to all of those CMLL fans, they're going to be able to name all the same WWE matches that were like, just because they are there marking out about shit no one knows about. Now, you could say, well, it's not on TV, or it's not, I don't know. You could make all these fucking excuses or say whatever you want, but I'm just going based off of what they sold out this building a bunch of times in a row. Okay, so does NXT. Now, it's not nearly the same amount of people, but if they didn't fill it, if they couldn't fill NXT's building, Dave would be all over it trying to prove that NXT isn't actually sellouts, even though they say it's sellouts. But with CMLL, like we saw when Bad Bunny was there, even they were showing like the way the wrestlers come out, there was a bunch of empty seats behind that side. Now, it was packed all around for sure, but it's like, okay, so Dave, you're just taking them at their word that it's a sellout 100% every time. Like, you don't know that even for sure. Nobody can really verify that, and they own the building. So what are the odds? Like, I'd say I sold it out too. And yes, they were drawing, and Mystico's a draw, and that's fucking awesome. But I don't know, promotion of the year. What's one story? So if I went to Mexico and said, oh man, last year, fucking John Cena's retirement tour, everyone would know what you're talking about. All the CMLL fans would be like, oh yeah, Juan Cena, actually. They would all fucking know, dude. They would all know about it. But if you came here and were like, man, Mystico, and he really mixed it up with Hechicero, dude. And it was, when Claudio went over there from AEW and beat fucking Blue Panther Jr., like no one knows about that shit. And if this is the case that CMLL is so great, then Dave, why aren't you voting MLW for shit when they have CMLL guys all over that fucking show? Why isn't MLW anywhere on your radar? Because it's a specific fucking narrative that you're trying to hit. So promotion of the year is CMLL. Let me pull this up quickly, this image, and look at this photograph. Lincoln Hawk for 2 says, promoter of the year equals me for my 2K25 universe. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Lincoln Hawk and his 2K20 universe. No doubt. So next up, we have the best weekly TV show of the year. And can you guys guess? Can you guys fathom a guess at what was chosen? AEW Dynamite, proving once again that the best guy is
Tony Khan.
So a show that routinely posted its worst ratings of the year, or not even of the year, but routinely posted not only like beat its worst ratings of the year in 25 multiple times, if that makes sense. Like they got lower a bunch of times, but of all time in 25, they did their lowest numbers. Now, if you want to factor in the invisible numbers on Max that nobody can prove, WBD will come out and say, yeah, we didn't keep this guy off of our show, which we'll talk about in a bit. But they won't come out and say, yeah, AEW did 500,000 viewers or even 100,000 viewers, because everybody's goddamn liars. But this show last year that had Moxley running rampant, tanking the fucking ratings, even when Hangman won the belt, it meant fucking nothing. It meant nothing. Nothing came of it. Mox just kept running amok like a triple cup tone, kept running amok, doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do, and nothing changed. They were still choking people out, fishbowl drownings. Like, it didn't matter that he lost the title. Nothing changed about the Death Riders until, ready? Moxley went, I'm a good guy now for the pro wrestling. I'm a good guy. Look, I'm hardcore. And then he beat everyone in the C2. Well, he actually lost to people. This is the thing. The C2's a tricky way where, like, he won the thing, but he put a couple guys over in it. So, oh, yeah, he did so much for everyone. And then, meanwhile, Fletcher's just stuck at the TNT title again in 20 to start off 26. So what did putting him over do? Where the fuck is Roderick Strong? What did putting Kyle O'Reilly or Roderick Strong over do for anybody? It's cooked. So when it comes to Dynamite, like, truly, I think even with Monet being involved in a lot of that shit, it was ultra cringy as well, where people were like turning it off. I think the Young Bucks did terrible shit. There was really no storylines. Joe was gone for a chunk, and then he came back, won the title, and then MJF was gone like I want to say a couple times last year. Was he not? I think he took off a couple times last year, like the Bucks. So it was inconsistent. Let's think about it. Ricochet shit was garbage. Hurt Syndicate did some stuff. You know, they were kind of cooking a little bit. What else was going on last year in AEW? Toni Storm, I think, just started to fall off. That was the beginning of her kind of mid to the end of the year, was kind of her starting to fall off and being, you know, a little less interesting, of like a wacky character. What else? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Swerve was there. Swerve wasn't there for a lot of time. So I just really don't agree that AEW Dynamite's the best weekly show. Now, again, it's a subjective thing. They all voted on it, but what are the odds that everyone voted on this? Like, how do you honestly say that Raw isn't in the discussion? Even TNA, that got a fucking TV deal out of stuff. I don't know if Dave is looking at Ray. Like, it's just Dynamite for some reason, even though I think everyone collectively agrees, even Chris Statlander seemingly agrees, that Dynamite just doesn't really make sense. There's no real fucking... Now they're starting to pick it up a little bit. They're picking it up a little bit. I'll give them that. Like, honestly, the Dynamites have been formatted a little better. And I know Dave's like, oh, everyone being interested in the title's really giving them a boost, Brian. But it's like, yeah, that should just be... It's just the most elementary surface level shit that Tone like can't even accomplish. And now that he's doing it, everyone's like, oh, look, he's doing a story, because they all just are approaching the champ. But let's see how things are executed and if they can tell these stories a little bit better. And even Dave was like, Brody King should have been on Dynamite. They should have had a segment. And then fucking he gets pwned by WBD execs, which we're about to get into. But yeah, Dynamite being the fucking best show, I just don't know if that could possibly...
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
So, match of the year, Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty. Bruv. Now, I will say this. That match was tremendous. It was tremendous, Brian. Kenny Omega worked like a real chill pace, though. He worked like how if he went to WWE, Kenny Omega, that's how he'd work. And would Dave be clapping it up like a seal, making those cheeks clap or what? For fucking Kenny Omega there, Dave? Like, would he be doing that if he was in WWE? I don't know. Maybe he would because it's one of his guys. Now, is this match of the year? I just feel like not enough fucking... So, like, the moves... Was there drama in it? Sure. Do you have to know who the fuck Gabe Kidd and Kenny Omega are to be invested? Yes. Do a bunch of people who know Kenny Omega don't know who the fuck Gabe Kidd is and didn't even watch that match? Yes. Yes, absolutely. And so is that match of the year? I just can't. I don't know. I don't see that at all. I do not see that at all. I'm sorry. I stand by mine again. What's the match that if you went to every fan who is watching fucking Nude, if you went to Japan and said, hey, did you see what John Cena did with AJ Styles, for instance, they would all have fucking seen it. They'd all know about it. So again, 2025 has come and passed. The innocence says, I don't fucking know. Wake me up when this show ends. But seriously though, match of the year, I'll just say that again, this is all subjective. They voted on it, but again, that just shows you like the majority of the observer votees, they all are like, yes, we're going to watch every match that Dave tells us to, because otherwise, like, how would all these people know about the fucking match unless they're just super into AEW and Nuge, or they pretend that they watch every single thing. Like, there's no way that Dave watches fucking Stardom, Marigold, fucking CMLL, AAA, Raw, SmackDown, New Japan. Literally, there's just not enough human time to do that. So I just think that, and again, does Dave, do any of these sexist pigs, no, I'm just joking, do any of these patriarchal sons of bitches, men, factor in any of the women either? Like Rhea and Io fucking cooked. Like, I'm sure Io, think about her matches. He had
a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
What about like I'm sure Punk had a banger in there too, but that one wouldn't have come to mind for me as match of the year personally. But again, or maybe like it would have maybe made like my top 5. If I really sat down, I should add match of the year to the PWT awards as well. So United States, Canada MVP, Jon Moxley. What? Moxley, again, MVP. So he put over Fletcher. Okay, Fletcher's just got the TNT title again. He put over O'Reilly. O'Reilly's like done. He's like retired before Mox because he's hurt so much and has kids and doesn't really give a fuck. And he said that on AEW Unrestricted. Who else did he put over? Oh, Roderick Strong. Like, what did he do? Who did he help get over? Hangman Page. Hangman Page might not be allowed on TV anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But like, for real, where's that guy? What did he do? They just took the belt off him in a hurry, dude. And like that Marty Scurll shit didn't really affect him well. So like, again, last year, what did Moxley do to elevate anything? He tanked the ratings, tanked the attendances. As world champion, did the cringiest shit on every show that everyone hated. Everyone, even AEW fans, were like, this is stupid as fuck. And they just had to lie there and accept the slop. But then they sit there and go, oh, WWE just feeds you brain slop. No, it's not brain slop when fucking Chelsea Green gets squashed. Like, yeah, it's shitty, but because we all love Chelsea Green, but like it's not slop though. These people are operating at the highest level all the time. Moxley fucking phones in matches sometimes, like clearly. You can just see it. You're like, he's better than this. What the fuck is he doing? Certain matches, he's just fucking being a goober. So he's the MVP. And then why is Canada lumped into this? What did we ever do? We don't claim Moxley. What the fuck is going on? The United States Canada MVP separate from the fucking Mexico MVP. Just say North America MVP and say Moxley, you know, like what the fuck in Canada? What did he do in Canada? Edge is like, oh, wait. Oh, but I'm on Disney Plus. Like, what the fuck did Moxley do? Yeah, I'm real cool. I'm going to drown you in a fishbowl in Toronto. Scooby-Doo, wah, wah. I don't even think that was in Toronto, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, what did Canada do to deserve Moxley? So, the next award, the Koichi Yoshizawa Award, the Japanese MVP, was Saya Kamatani. So shout her out. She's doing big things. She's like the most over Joshi, the top Joshi gal. And I guess if you're going with Japanese MVP, Dave's going to hate on Tsuji, I guess. Dave's going to hate on, I don't know who else. Who could be the Japanese MVP? I guess you give it to one of these Joshi girls. I'm not even going to hate on that because in Japan, she could be like more over than Evil is. But the top guys in Nuge, I mean, everyone's leaving and shit. Last year, I mean, what was the story really? It was Takeshita and Tsuji heading into the start of this year. And then I guess you had like Goto had a good year. And some of the tag teams and stuff. But yeah, give it to the Joshi. I'm not going to fucking hate on that at all. Get your flowers. The Mexico MVP, of course, Mystico, because how is it not? He's Wrestler of the Year. The European MVP, Michael Oku. So the Europe MVP, like what they did in Europe. Or is it like the Europe? Because again, Zack Sabre Jr., a lot of people don't like him, but he was world champion in Nuge. He went and did some stellar shit in the tag division as well to cap off the year and things like this. So, and then he was like a TV champ. I don't know if that bled into, I don't know, like 25. I think he held a couple different titles, but I digress. So Zack Sabre's a European, but he was crushing it in Japan. So does he get the Japanese nod or the European nod? I don't know. Michael Oku's not officially signed to AEW, but he shows up like when Tone gives him the call. You know, he's Will Ospreay's bruv. So, you know, Dave's going to give him the nod. Europe MVP, like Dave's sitting there watching a bunch of European pro wrestling. Or, let me just throw this out there. Because, like, I'm not a dummy like you, Dave Meltzer. I'm not a goddamn dummy like you, Dave. Okay? Like, are you watching all of this European wrestling, or are you just watching like, oh, bruv, I know Michael Oku, bruv, watch his match. And then like, that's the only European wrestling you're consuming. So you're like, oh, Michael Oku. You know what I'm saying? So the Hodge Award non-heavyweight MVP, Mystico, because I guess he's not a heavyweight, and he isn't. But again, if he stacks up with MJF, this is why, again, it's like, this is why people don't get behind MJF. Like, I think MJF and Mystico are the same fucking size. Okay? And MJF's your world heavyweight champion. And I don't mean to be sizist. I know we're ageist and sizist here at PWT. Not really, but Mystico also, of course, because he's Wrestler of the Year, he's going to be Mexico Wrestler of the Year and light heavyweight or whatever, non-heavyweight. So does this mean girl too? I don't fucking know. Again, Dave has buried other awards and said his awards are the ones that matter the most. Dave, when you press him on his awards and say, well, they're just your opinion, he goes, well, no, I think that we do I think Chris Van Vliet, the Giga Chad Van Vliet, pressed him on that and was like, so what metric do you like? How do you explain it? And he couldn't even quantify how he gives out stars or awards and his stars. And he wouldn't admit that they're his opinion stars and awards. He won't admit that shit. he plays it off as like, no, we're very objective and all this stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. But I would love an explanation, and maybe he gives one of what a non-heavyweight means. Like, so the minis, do they count? No. Women's wrestling MVP, Saya Kamatani, because it can't be Io Sky. It can't be Rhea Ripley. So you can't just give Saya Kamatani her flowers with the Japanese MVP, right? And here's the thing, too. He wants to say that Mystico's the MVP because what, chat? Because he draws a bunch over and over again in Mexico. Well, Stardom, or wherever Saya is currently, they don't draw a bunch of fucking people. They don't draw big houses. They're doing like NXT crowds, maybe a bit larger than that. Some of the shows draw well. Okay, but they're not doing this on this level. So now that's discarded. And what Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and their ilk in the WWE have contributed to the overall landscape of pro fucking wrestling and what they drew. You can't tell me there aren't fucking people going crazy crying. And like when Nikki Bella comes out, you see women crying. When Rhea Ripley comes out, you see women crying. Some of these women. So you're going to tell me that the women's wrestling MVP wasn't like Io or Stephanie Vaquer. Not Stephanie Vaquer, dude, who crushed it, had a stellar, like an uprising like we haven't seen. Gets over on the main roster, NXT, multiple titles to the main roster, world heavyweight champion, or women's world heavyweight champion, I guess. I don't know. I just call those big golds the heavyweight titles, brah. But it's crazy. Like, this is just crazy hater shit. How is this women's MVP? So does she cut the best promos? I guarantee not. Has she had the biggest marquee matches? Nope. Has she drawn more than any of the women? No. Is she a better wrestler than all of these women? She's fucking Alundra Blaze mixed with Toyota Miami and all fucking every women's wrestler, all the great wrestlers, Molly Holly all rolled into one. Is that what she is? I fucking doubt it. And I'd even argue like people in AEW, there are women in AEW that probably deserve the women's wrestling MVP over, not even a shit on her, but it's just based on moves and like concussing each other and shit. That's all Dave likes. That's all he fucking cares about.
Brian.
He just cares about car wrecks. And he's cooked. So, we're going to move along here. Let me check in quickly with chat here. And thank you so much for the support. Get your super chats in, guys. Appreciate you. Hit like or just retweet, heart, whatever, all that good stuff. Love you guys. Rabid Wolverine LC Killer 17 for 5 says Dave, Tony, and sickos are cancer to the wrestling business. Yeah, and again, this isn't like, I don't mean to shit on CMLL and all that. Like, I'm not trying to shit on these people, but I am kind of by proxy. I just have to own that, and that's totally fine. I'm willing to do it to get the point across, but come on, man. Like, no, Io didn't get the fucking not. Like, one of these women in WWE, are you kidding me? They're contributing nothing to be women's MVP. Did Io not have banger? Like, all of her matches were bangers. Oh, well, she was hurt. There was like a month where she was hurt, Brian. Gives a fuck, man. It's crazy. Rabid Wolverine LC Killer 17 for 2 says, I vote Phil for Booker of the Year. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty good at booking these shows. I don't know about a wrestling show. If it was me, I'd be completely humble and I'd take a step back. If I was Tone, I've explained it a million times. I would have just been booking ROH to get my reps in and just like do a YouTube show. Let other people handle Dynamite. Still pitch my ideas and say, like, here's who I want to be champ. Here's when I see it. Can we, whatever, let other people kind of handle it or tell me like, no, that's dumb. You should do this, whatever. And like, I'd be learning in Gorilla. I wouldn't be in Gorilla. Like Tony since day one's been in Gorilla. Oh yeah, it's great. Like I would be sitting there just watching people who know what the fuck they're doing. That would be my initial, if I just started booking pro wrestling, but I wouldn't want to do that. It seems too stressful. I got to be honest, unless you paid me a lot of money, but I wouldn't even, it just seems like, look at the hate Triple H gets. He gets outvoted for Booker of the Year by people you've never fucking heard of in your life. Okay? So anyways. Let's get into the next section here of awards. So, best box office draw, John Cena. So they got that one right, but it's because you can't really, when it comes to best box office draw, that's not an opinion. This is one that must rely on cold, hard data and facts. That's how you know the other awards are just based on moves, which I keep driving this home because Dave Meltzer and his ilk will never admit this, and they'll just call me an obsessed hater for A-logging this fucking redact. But either way, that's objective. You can't argue. And this is what's so dumb. Best box office draw. It should just be called the number one box office draw. No one votes on this. It's just, this is who it is. Because you can just do the math on that. Now, the way Dave talks about Mystico, you'd think he would have won this too. But since Dave can't give Cena any other awards that he likely should have earned, because other people took them, that he's trying to get over or is being paid to get over, allegedly. Right? This is a cartoon. I don't know. Right? Yeah, you can't argue with John Cena being the best box office draw. Feud of the year. Listen to this one. Hangman Page versus John Moxley.
Liar!
Come
Tell
on,
us
man.
what you know, you goddamn liar!
This shit got bum rushed on everyone. I know that Dave was coming in his pants when fucking Hangman won the title, and everyone was like, and they popped. It meant nothing, though. The ratings and attendances went, and then Tone just switched the belt off him. So how much did that really mean? Feud of the year in wrestling was Hangman and Moxley. Didn't they fucking feud for like 3 months at the most? If you tally together all of their interactions, like, it wasn't even a feud. It's crazy. And again, are women not involved in this shit? Are women not involved in this shit, you sexist son of a bitch? No. But for real, like, are women not involved in this at all? Is there a whole other list of women's awards that I'm not seeing anywhere? What the fuck? The feud of the year. I don't know, man. I think Rhodes and Cena was more memorable. Oh, well, the heel turn sucked. No, it really didn't. It just kind of, this is what happened. It interrupted shit, but it was awesome to see it one last time, and people were reacting. People go, oh, it's the reactions, how the crowds move. Cena was fucking getting on everyone's bad side. Was it the best shit ever? Was it a big show, fucking quick switcheroo, switch back and forth? Yes. But it was awesome, and the crowd reacted so favorably. If we had just gotten the babyface Cena shit through the whole year, people would have been like, yawn, tired of it, bored of it. So it was actually really a good thing that they did that. And I think people will learn to accept that in hindsight. But in the moment, it was kind of like, yeah, this isn't the best shit ever. But it just added so much. Getting that moment of Cena's heel turn and his face switch and all of that, it was amazing. So the best feud, like, God damn it, man. Mox and Hangman, my recollection of it is like, yes, there was like a through line sort of like a bunch of wrestlers are mad at the Death Riders. And then just sort of at the tail end, Hangman's like, I'm going after Mox. And then I felt like their feud was like 2 months, a month at the most. I don't even know. Is it Drew Rhodes? Maybe that's been ongoing. I don't know if that's been the best feud. Naomi was cooking in 25. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy to just pick that one. I know that was a moment for AEW fans, but nothing changed. So what really, like, what quantifies feud of the year? Promos, the matches, the story, like what actually is the details of the story? What does the story itself entail, right? Like, is it a fucking revenge plot? Is it just is it betrayal? Is it heartbreak? Maybe it's a couple of those things, but is it like is it just purely motivation? Well, it was to stamp out the Death Riders. Yeah, but like everyone was like, it didn't stamp them out, and everyone was doing that. Like everyone, you had fucking Trent Beretta, or who was it? Like Chuck T was backstage standing up to the fucking death. Like it was a shit show. That was the Death Riders is the worst shit ever. It can't win best of anything. And Moxley is Death Riders, so inherently feud of the year. It just doesn't qualify. Most improved, Harley fucking Cameron. Now again, dude, I love Harley Cameron. I'm not trying to shit on Harley Cameron. You guys know I've played her videos on this show. I've put her over tremendously. I'm not just being a hater over here on everything Dave has to say, but
let's just be fair. We got a couple haters.
So Harley Cameron, dude, are you kidding me? The leaps and bounds. Tatum Paxley, buddy? Like, soul fucking Ruka. Now, in 25, did she take a huge improvement leap from 24? Or was she still good? Was she just as good both years? No, she took a huge leap of improvement. Lash legend. Stephanie Vaquer even is most improved. Coming in, showing that she can work the Raw Netflix style right away. Like, got it right away. Maybe she was just so good the whole time that, yeah, you could argue not most improved. But, like, holy shit, dude. Tatum Paxley isn't on there. Or, like, one of these and not to shit on Harley Cameron, but she has not really improved in the last year. She's kind of, to me, in my opinion, at the same level. She's like Julia Hart. All these girls, Anna Jay's the same way. They all just kind of get stuck at a certain level. Sky Blue's good, but she's still stuck at that level. We talk about it all the time. Queen Aminata's great. She's just stuck at that level, though. They got to take it to the next level. Harley Cameron has to take it to the next level. Now, she's good. She's good, but like, she's solid enough. Like, I'd have her on my roster for sure, especially with all of her talent she has. I'd have her on my roster for sure, especially developing, bringing her up and stuff. But most improved. Dave, there's this girl up here called Saya Kamatani no one even heard of a fucking year ago. She's not, and now she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time, according to you, beating Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. She's not the most improved. Like, let's play your own game, Dave. See? Like, don't even use my logic. Use your own goddamn logic. So that Saya Kamatani girl's not the most improved? She just won all the fucking...
poor people don't like AEW.
A crazy, like, sweep job for AEW. There's no way all of his voters would think that either unless he said that shit. There's no way you don't see NXT and go, holy shit, these women are improving at an incredibly rapid rate. So, it's crazy. Most charismatic, John Cena. Fucking cop out. I mean, yeah, but that's just, again, they're just sort of like giving John Cena. They're not even thinking too hard about WWE. They're not really factoring WWE into anything. Now, is he the most charismatic? Fuck yeah. But like, you could argue, well, maybe Roman is when he comes out. Now, again, back in the day, you never say that about Roman, but Roman's got so much aura that he fucking, now I know that charisma means cutting and strutting too a little bit, you know. It's about something about the way you move, but also like the way you present yourself on the mic. And Roman, he just kind of, you know, acknowledge me, like I'm here, you know. He's not the most charismatic on the mic. And yes, I agree, John Cena deserves that fucking award for all the different like heel and babyface promos he did and backstage shit and everything. I'd say it's fucking John Cena. He's the most charismatic guy when he walks in the room. But again, it just shows that they didn't really give too much thought to any of this shit. Bryan Danielson award, best technical wrestler, Zack Sabre Jr. Okay, fair enough. I mean, okay, best technical wrestler. Yeah, I guess he does like the, ooh, I got you in a pretzel, I'll tickle your bum hole. I don't know how you fucking I don't know, do we say someone like Jonathan Gresham? But again, you'd factor it like, well, Zack Sabre Jr. was New Japan heavyweight champion. Okay. So then Io Sky was WWE world champion, should have won, Woman of the Year or whatever the fuck that one female award was. So technical wrestler. Okay, sure. Give it to Zack Sabre. Like, I won't argue that. I guess he's technically good at like wrist lock to headlock, takeover, grab the ankle, he's smooth with it. All right. Bruiser Brody Memorial Award, Best Brawler, John Moxley. The sloppy fucking Moxley, man. Lock him up! Lock Dave Meltzer up for this shit. The best brawler, John Moxley. Come on, bruv. Come on, bruv. Come on, man. He dumps people on their fucking heads. He's just sloppy fucking these shitty, sloppy, dumpy chop battles, forearm battles or whatever. It's just like, is that good brawling? I think when I think of good brawling, I think of, and this might sound weird to people. Well, I think of Stone Cold right away, obviously, the standard bearer. And this might sound weird to people, but I think of people like Bret Hart. The way he throws his fucking punches. We talk about this all the time. Now, Dave brawler style of wrestling, Phil. It's a brawler's style. The guys who identify as brawlers. So it's like between him and Eddie Kingston and shit. Okay. And maybe, you give it to Mox, I guess. Best brawler. On the outside or on the inside. I don't know. Quantify this a little bit. I would say like what Shiloh Hill and Briggs did was more brawly and badass than anything Moxley's done this year or last year, pardon me. Best flying wrestler, Mascara Dorada. So he was in WWE at one point, I believe, right? Let me just quickly Google it. Mascara, Grand Metalik. I was going to say it was like Lindsay Dorado or something. So Grand Metalik, the best flyer, the best flying wrestler. So does this mean like who saves the most air miles and fucking no? But Grand Metalik, I just think it's a travesty. You have to give it to Javon Evans as far as high flyer. And again, Dave Meltzer wants to sit there and try and entice Javon Evans and go, oh, well, Tony Khan will give you millions and billions of fucking
the best
dollars
guys, Tony Khan.
If you come here, Javon. Even though Tone had him in his fucking clutches, but he gives it to Grand Metalik. Like, name one match where you go, wow, he really memorably flew through the air. I'd even rather give it to Ricochet than this fucking guy. Name a match where you're like, whoa, that guy really flew through the air and was amazing. Right? Flying wrestler. Okay, so again, women don't count, I guess. So we're not counting like Io Sky does the moonsault, does the dives off the cage, does the fucking dives off the balcony and all that. I guess we're not counting those memorable moments, which some people say are hack and played out. Okay, I'll give you that. So we're trying to freshen it up this year. So Javon Evans isn't the best flyer. Like, he's done spectacular fucking things. He can clear 2/3 of the ring for a shoot, brother. Even the way he gets thrown by like Oba Femi. We've seen him like clear fucking through over the ropes, over the fucking floor to the outside on the announce table, to the point AEW copied that fucking spot. Think about guys like, let's look at TNA. So TNA doesn't get no love for their X division. So Leon Slater, Dave, doing that 450 swanton that everyone's talking about, got featured multiple places, teamed up with Javon, did crazy X division shit, those Ultimate X matches, diving through the air. Fucking AJ Francis for his dives in that ladder match deserve more fucking.
He had that Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Dude. But for real, like, Leon Slater's not on that list. I don't know. I think that's pretty cooked. Most overrated, Jey Uso. Dave cooked on that shit. Moving along. Most underrated. Can I get a yeet? Yeet. Listen, no, I won't move. I won't just breeze past that. Jey Uso. Here's the thing. I will argue this one a little bit. I don't think he's overrated. Everybody understands perfectly well what his like limit, like how good of a wrestler he is, quote unquote. Okay. And he's better as a tag guy. And as in singles, he did his thing, but like we're all aware that he's kind of a botchy guy and he fucking slips in the ring and fucking, he's not the best wrestler. We know. Is he overrated though? Like, as far as moves are concerned, fuck no. As far as like how over he is, no, he's not overrated. That's the dilemma with Jey Uso. He's super over, but his matches are like, he's an entrance. And he's got the super kicks, and when he tags up with Jimmy, it's way better for sure. And yeah, he can wrestle. Like he works top guy speed, as they call it. And I don't hate on that shit whatsoever. And I'm down with the bloodline and all that. I love Jey Uso. I'm okay with his entrance. In the Rumble, it was like, fuck this. But then Roman punched him in the face, so I popped for that. That was all good. And Jey Uso, that's sort of the dilemma with him. Like, he's not overrated as a wrestler because people, I think, fairly rate him and maybe even underrate him. And he's not overrated as far as like how over he is. He's fucking super over, man, and he moves a ton of merch. So I don't think that's the right choice. Now, overrated, I wouldn't even say Kyle Fletcher either. Like, does Dave overrate him? Yeah, a little bit. I would say a little bit. But is he overrated? No, I think that if you look at Fletcher and say, yeah, he could be like the dude one day in either company, I wouldn't say he's overrated. A guy like Beast Mordos, like you guys see, not to jump ahead, but most underrated Beast Mordos. Well, that's you overrating him, Dave. Like I'm sorry, Beast Mordos. He's a solid lucha, I guess. He's a solid hand. Again, if I had some luchas on my roster, he'd be like with his getup and he's able to wrestle in it. That would be like one of my top heel luchas. If I had like a fucking division for that, or I was booking, or we're like, hey, we're bringing luchas in, he'd be like the guy beating up all the good guy luchas for sure. That would be a name that would come to mind as Mortis, but is he underrated? No, I don't think. I think you're like overrating him by giving him an underrated award in a weird way. It's almost like a backhand compliment. Like, no, I think he's perfectly good. No one really hates on Mortis. They just kind of laugh at, I don't know where he's at. I'd say Ethan Page is underrated because it took Dave literally saying even if he was booked in NXT, he wouldn't be a star. And even Dave was like, well, man, this guy really fucking. So maybe Ethan Page, maybe he's rated right where he's at as well. But whatever. It's silliness. But overrated, I don't know if I'd pick Jey Uso. Maybe that's tough. Who's like really overrated? As far as like I would say like an El Clone or what's the other guy's name? I forget it now. Hologram. I think Tone and Dave hyped that dude up too much. Maybe Takeshita. It's hard to say he's overrated. I would say Mystico a little bit, honestly. I would say Mystico's overrated by Dave Meltzer for sure, at least by Dave. And again, when you watch Mystico wrestle, like him versus MJF, it's nothing that like a million other people don't do. Like Action Andretti's done that shit on Collision, the stuff that Mystico does. It doesn't really. So I'd say Mystico maybe is the most overrated. Most underrated, Beast Mordos. I would say in 2025, who is the most underrated wrestler? fuck, the way that these awards treat fucking people like Io and Stephanie Vaquer, maybe Stephanie Vaquer, a lot of people don't show her love. I don't really understand it. She was the bee's knees when she wrestled Monet and whatnot. Most underrated. I'd have to think about that, I guess, a little longer. He picked Beast Mortis. I don't think he's underrated, though. I think he's perfectly, we all understand what he is. No one shits on, no one's like, man, that Mortis guy sucks at wrestling and doesn't have a cool look or anything. That's not a criticism of him. It's just like funny that he's dating Monet. And then obviously Tone doesn't know how to book luchas. So you're going to roast that shit. Mike Santana. Thank you. Mike Santana is the most underrated. Hands down, the most underrated guy is Mike Santana. I think that is the fucking hands down definitive answer for 25. Perfect answer. TNA gets no love. Women get no love. What a fucking TNA phobic, sexist lock. So, Rookie of the Year, Sari Yamaoka. Sari Yamaoka is the Rookie of the Year, according to Dave Meltzer. So you guys can go ahead and look up who that is. And Rookie of the Year. Damn. Let me think. What is a rookie, though? This is the problem in pro wrestling. Does it have to be your first year? I'll just agree with Dave on this one because, what does he qualify that? Rookie of the Year, you in NXT, you get your rookie year in NXT, and then you get your rookie year on the main roster as well. In AEW, there's no real rookie year because TNA is more prestigious than AEW. Historically, if you come from New Japan, that's more prestigious than AEW historically, so these other places are like 1-to-1 or just a step below or above AEW. So is that really your rookie year, in AEW? Okay, then that's a whole separate category than just your rookie year in wrestling. So I'll give it to Dave. Who's a 1-year person that's really blown everyone away? And Aaron Wolf is getting punished. Dave was never high on Aaron Wolf. Evil, they had him beat Evil, and then all of a sudden Aaron Wolf gets beat in a 2-minute match from Ren Narita that Dave Meltzer literally rated -1 star. So there's an agenda against I don't know if he's I want to go to the Fed or what's going on, or if he doesn't want to go to AEW and they're mad about that. I have no clue, but either way. So best non-wrestler, Don Callis, not even Paul Heyman. Don Callis's ass, his teeth falling out of his head on live TV. Okay. His promos are the fucking same. He does a good job though of he's a great orator and he's good at, I like the Callis family. I'm down with it. But to say that's better than Paul Heyman cooking he's in every top guy fucking feud and angle. He's got history with all the top guys. He connects all these stories that's drawing the most shit coming off of the fucking Bloodline run. And then now he's with the Vision and all these promos he's cutting and all this stuff with Adam Pearce. You're really going to fucking tell, Adam Pearce deserves it over Don Callis. Let's be honest here. And even Don Callis posted about this, saying that Paul Heyman deserves it. So shout out Callis, a good Canadian boy there. But even he doesn't agree with you, Dave Meltzer. You're a dumbass.
Meltzer Inferno.
And your voters. Don Callis. This is how you know that the voters are retarded. And they just listen to Dave. Don Callis. How did you all vote? And the most points go to Don Callis. This is in a bubble, right? Every fucking buddy else agrees. It would be Paul Heyman if you were going to give it to anybody. And then probably Adam Pearce second. Maybe Adam Pearce, you could argue, well, he's cooking more in 26. Okay. But Don Callis, man, come on. Crazy, man. And even Callis agrees. Like, Heyman is the fucking dude. You can't vote anyone but Heyman in that regard. So, now listen to this one. Best television announcer, Bryan Danielson. What?
Fucking Mark!
What? Danielson is tired, admits that he's tired on the air, is injured, and fucking, I'm in pain while I'm sitting there trying to do commentary. He's always lost trying to get shit over that commentary's not talking about and that Tony Khan clearly isn't saying in their fucking headsets to say. And he's always like, seems like he's lost and he's not half paying attention. He just gives up into these long shows and stops talking. And then you guys want to know what was voted behind? And here's the thing. I'm not even talking about like what the second and third most votes were in these categories. You would be fucking outraged. Now, I'm sure Jim Cornette or someone else is going to do that, so you guys can listen to that. But some of these categories, and I remember this one because I put a tweet out about it, underneath Bryan Danielson, it was that Walker guy from New Japan who's always like, oh my God, the Bob Hartley. That's literally all he does. And then what he's trying to do is copy Excalibur, who was voted number 2 or 3 behind that guy. No Tessitore, who did this shit for boxing. And Excalibur just goes, whoa, and Taz. Oh my goodness. It's that Walker guy's just copying Excalibur, and Excalibur's the shit. He's actually garbage, one of the fucking worst. It's one of the things they've never changed about AEW, that if they changed about AEW would benefit them fucking tremendously. Point blank. And people are like, well, no one knows the names of the moves like Excalibur. I don't give a fuck, okay? When Nitro was on, Eric Bischoff was doing commentary with people. He didn't know the names of the fucking moves, and the Cruiserweight division was innovating. Fucking Mortis, bitch. Canyon was making shit up on the fly in there, doing Cruiserweight shit. You don't need to know every little fucking detail. Well, the AEW fans like it. I like it too a little bit. I'm not going to lie. When somebody can quickly call out, well, that's a half Nelson, that's a 360 half Nelson cutter king. If someone can call that out quickly, that's awesome, but it's not necessary. Do you guys understand? So I enjoy that. Phil S. Marks is a fucking mark for that. Fucking mark! I like it, but I don't like how Excalibur does it, and also he doesn't even do that all the time because you can tell that they've told him to try and be a little more story based, like getting that shit over. And he puts an effort into it, like, and I'll credit him. And he's not like the worst shit ever. I'd have him on like the Dark Show. I'd have him on Collision. He'd be like, okay, stick him on Collision. But if people like it, that's fine. It's not necessary. Okay. One of the things about UFC commentary and what helped blow the UFC up was Joe Rogan, when he was doing commentary, he could explain the intricate jiu-jitsu moves and what the person on offense is trying to do and what the person defensively is trying to do. And he would do it quickly and succinctly, right? But also, he doesn't even go into these breakdowns nowadays as deep as he did. And you could say that's lacking from UFC commentary a bit. And I would agree. But it's because people are more familiar with some of the terminology. Like people understand what full guard is or full mount is and things like this, to where you don't need to. So especially with the AEW fan base or a hardcore fan like myself, a hardcore pro wrestling fan, it's like that shit is unnecessary and it doesn't cater to the people who don't give a fuck. And there's more people who don't give a fuck than do. Do you guys get it? We're talking, it's a TV show. We're trying to attract fans. What are we doing here, Tone? Put me on retainer and call me. I'll be your consultant. Fuck this Dave Meltzer fellow. You don't need to win these dumb awards. But Danielson, come on, man. Tessitore did this shit for boxing. And then announcer, so television announcer. So that means, so does that mean, and let me just throw this out there, announcer. So that means Alicia Taylor and Mark Nash and Tessitore and Corey Graves. And are we talking about, like, is Kathy Kelly and Jackie Redmond in there? Is even Renee Paquette is better than Danielson at talking and conveying shit back and forth with the wrestlers, in my opinion, and doing her thing where they're coming out of, like, they stole that thing from the UFC where that Megan O'Leary does, where she stands in front of the tunnel, the fighter walks out, and then the camera follows the fighter while she's giving stats and factoids. It's very like what's her name? Doris Bird or whatever the fuck in the NBA. I forget her goddamn name, but it's very UFC-ish, and they do that on AEW sometimes. I like that shit. But what the fuck are we talking about? Taz is better than Danielson, and I know he was out for a long time, like all fucking year. But and then to nominate like Excalibur and that Walker guy underneath like 2 and 3, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? Testator's good enough for like the elitist combat sport that is boxing, you know? And he doesn't even get a nod. He's not even up there in the conversation. It's just all these people who do the same thing. Oh, and the Oshigoroshi from the top. And oh my God. Fucking terrible, man. So worst television announcer, Booker T. So yeah, this encompasses commentators and just announcers, I guess. The worst one, Booker T. Okay, so that's racist. No, but like, why does Booker T get hate? It's super over with a younger fan base. And yeah, I don't know. Like, people, I know some people don't like it, but a lot of people love it, you know, and the wrestlers themselves love it. But then Dave and these sickos are like, nah, he's the fucking worst.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
And it's like, I know that Dave doesn't really understand and why it works so well in NXT or African NXT, as friend of the show, Alfred Konawa, would say. Like, I know he doesn't get all that, but it's, I don't know, man. Booker T's a fun vibe. And when even the wrestlers are like, oh man, I miss Booker T, or like, oh, his call, like, this is, I don't know, dude. Part of wrestling's supposed to be fun and over the top characters. I think Dave really forgets that it's also about characters, not just hard weighing yourself and fucking wrestling till you collapse and getting concussed and doing shoot moves to each other that are really hurting each other. So the best major wrestling show, AEW All in Texas. Come on, man. It went forever. It was not that memorable. People were not talking about Hangman's title win that long after it. Hangman beat Mox in a match. No offense between those two. We've seen it 1,000 million fucking times, even on Dynamite. We've seen that match 100,000 fucking times, and not in a good way. How is that the best overall major wrestling show? Like, not even WrestleMania? Night 1 or 2? Not even the fucking Cena heel turn show? That wasn't the best show? Like, that chamber match wasn't unfucking real? Leading up to then the heel turn and shit too? That card wasn't good? The women's evolution card wasn't good? Like, now you want to be a sicko. You want to go hit him with the sicko mode, Dave, and you want to fucking talk about just sheer wrestling and then like surprise, like maybe a couple surprise pops, right? Is that what you want to talk about, Dave? Then Evolution 2 was in 25, right? That's not on your list for like just banger matches and then,
oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
And then like surprise, motherfucker. Like, that's not on there. What are we talking about? How did all of your sycophants vote this? What was 2 and 3? I guarantee they weren't anything WWE. Which, what does the best major show mean? So the moves that were done on the show, Dave, because the formatting wasn't the best. The length of it wasn't the best. The production was definitely not the best. The crowd wasn't the best. We've heard way better crowds on Raws. The turnout, the attendance, the draw, the amount of money that was earned wasn't the best. The production and all of that, I think I said production twice, but none of that was the best. The views weren't the best. The drama, the payoffs, the matches themselves, they weren't all like the moves were the best, Dave. I think he just means
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
So worst major wrestling show, WWE WrestlePalooza. Why was it the worst though, Dave? Because ESPN graded it a C+. And the ESPN guy's a sicko, but it's like fine. But so you guys point to that as, yeah, that was for sure the worst major one because even ESPN gave it C+. But really, if you're being objective, like it was better than All in Texas production wise. The views internationally were cray cray. Hey, yeah, I want you cray cray. I want it. Right? So was WrestlePalooza the best show ever? No, but was it the worst major wrestling show? Are you sure none of those AEW shows would be on there? Would be on that list above WrestlePalooza? That wasn't that bad. Like, let's be totally honest about that. The worst television show, WWE NXT. So not NWA, not even TNA, not even a shit on TNA, but the worst NXT? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And again, they all vote on it because Brian, with his faux outrage. And this is what happened, okay? I'm going to let you guys know what happened. I'm going to take you behind the curtain. Dave tasked Brian with, you got to trash NXT this year. And then they got blindsided by TNA because they're dumb fucks. But that's where all of Brian's faux outrage came from with TNA or NXT, pardon me, especially in the second half of the year. And they voted it the worst show. How, man? Like NWA's a show. JCW Lunacy's a show. You can't tell me NXT's the worst show when fucking Stephanie Vaquer gets called up and the crowd's going nuts for her, or Oba Femi goes up. So it was the worst show that got him over. He's just over because everyone's retarded and they go, oh, look at this guy. Who? We understand it. What does he think? Like, how do you think Javon Evans got so over to where Dave's like, well, Tony Khan will give you $8 billion. The best guy is Tony Khan. Like, how does that happen? How is that the worst television show giving you Kendall Gray matches that Dave's fucking drooling over? It's because Brian's faux outrage trains these sycophants like seals. So, most disgusting promotional tactic, WWE bringing back Brock Lesnar. What was disgusting? Stupid idiot! So not like using it's not Tony Khan doing interviews using the death of Jay Briscoe to be like, well, that wouldn't happen now. WBD wouldn't cancel anyone. And then maybe that was a promotional tactic. He was talking about it, flexing it in multiple interviews while promoting AEW. Oh, I have a way better relationship with WBD. Don't even worry. I'm not worried about the Netflix deal. I think that's way grosser. Again, man, having Rita Chatterton on fucking payroll, is that not some weird co-opting John Alba and Sports Illustrated? Is kind of gross. Bringing back Brock because this woman who like testified that he did nothing fucking wrong and her legal team reiterated it. That he did nothing wrong. But he was just part of Vince's weird, sick, perverted fucking perversions that were going on. And realistically, she just wanted fucking money as well. Like, if he just paid her money, none of this would even really be a thing, and Vince would still be working in WWE. Which I guess in a weird, sick way, thank fucking God he isn't, but... And yes, did Vince victimize other women and shit? Yeah, we're not talking about that. So, like, Brock, and we're especially not talking about that because Brock had nothing to do with any of that shit. So how is bringing Brock back a disgusting promotional tactic? Or WWE bringing Brock back. I don't know how I worded that, but how is that a disgusting promotional tactic? I just don't fucking understand. It was just a promotional tactic. I think drowning people in fish bowls and skewering their fucking head and having them dive off shit with Martha Hart in the fucking audience and when you're doing the Owen Hart finals or whatever, is more of a disgusting promotional tactic. Things like JJ was pointing out on the last live show, Time Cop, every Wednesday and Saturday. He was pointing out like Tone's bringing in this person because for this reason, the Tommaso Ciampa thing because Royce Keys, right? Tone is going to Wembley. You could chalk that up as a gross, but like, why is this even a fucking? Why is this even an award he hands out? Most disgusting promotional tactic. I don't even understand why that's an award you'd hand out. And if Tony Khan was like, Brock Lesnar, come on down. If that's what Tony Khan did, Dave wouldn't be saying this at all. He would not be saying it was disgusting to bring back Brock Lesnar, and people like David Bixenspan and them would sweep for it. Just like they swept, just like Dave Meltzer when he's talking about Hangman and Marty Scurll. I'm not trying to defend it, but... And it's like, you're cooked, buddy. Best wrestling maneuver, Hangman Page's buckshot lariat. Come the fuck on, man. Again, when is Leon Slater? So the 450 senton or swanton? Logan Paul does a better fucking buckshot lariat than Hangman does. The RKO, the OG cutter that actually made highlights. The buckshot lariat is shitty because he has to hit 4 of them to knock Samoa Joe off of his feet and shit like that. Dave Meltzer. So how is that the best move when you have the OG cutter out there? And you have guys on the indies hitting like fucking shooting star elbow drops and shit. Shit that's way cooler and way more impressive, and someone else does the move better than Hangman. And the RKO's out there. Randy Orton's been dishing RKO's out. He's just cooked, man. Worst worked match of the year. So worst worked, as in like the moves in the ring. So the worst worked, like the selling, the moves in the ring, calling shit in the ring. Rhodes versus Cena. Oh, come on now, Dave. That's not very fair. Oh, come on now, Dave. Chat me up. There's a lot to unpack here about Okada stabbing Takeshita in the head with a fucking screwdriver, Dave Meltzer. And then pinning him and the ref counting 1, 2, 3. Oh, but the work leading up to that was brilliant. Yeah, but none of that shit mattered. The finish was what mattered, right? The finish is what was supposed to get the heat on Okada, so that's what matters. That's what sells the match, right? So it was fucked up. Come on, man. The worst worked match. Some of these fucking women's matches in AEW, or just all over the place in general. No, but for real, like Zelina Vega's had worse matches than Cena Rhodes. Like, you got to be joking. This is fucked up, man. It's crazy. Worst worked match. So lazy ass Moxley and Darby Allin drowning in a fishbowl. That wasn't the worst worked match where there was no work. It was just garbage. Like, come on, man. It's not the greatest match. Rhodes and Cena isn't the greatest match of all time, but was it the worst worked match of the year? And this is the problem. You're voting people, again, like Seri Moaka and Mascara Dorada and Saya Kamatani. So it's like deep cuts, Dave. So these are deep cuts. You guys are the observers. You guys are the Uwatu, the watchers, right? You guys are the watchers looking over the fucking pro wrestling universe, and you see all of pro wrestling. And there's not like a shitty GCW match. Didn't Sabu die last year after a fucking match? Like, come on, there wasn't an Invisible Man match that would take this over Rhodes and Cena. This is just the fucking I hate WWE awards. That's all it is. Worst feud of the year. Max Caster versus Anthony Bowens. Now, I'll give them credit for voting this the worst feud. And it's something AEW related. Now, why is it the worst feud, though? Because people wanted more out of it. I don't even think a lot of people knew that they feuded. I would say Moxley Hangman's the worst feud because it meant nothing. Everything it built up to meant nothing moving forward, and nobody got more over from it. But Max Caster versus Bowens, okay, if they voted it, fair enough. But what were the feuds that they're even looking at? It was hardly a feud either. It was just like he showed up and beat him. It's like their knowledge beyond AEW is just not there other than Dave's talking points, the people voting on this. That's how I feel reading the results of these, right? Worst promotion of the year. WWE.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Dave doing the splits on it for AEW. The worst promotion was the highest drawing. And again, Dave Meltzer says it. It's only about making money, Brian. The business is about making money. So the highest ratings on TV, the most attended, the most programming across the board, the highest level of developmental, the biggest name superstars, the top box office attraction last year, the best storylines, hands down, the best storylines, pound for pound. If you chalk them up, that doesn't mean all of them are good. The best production, the best crossovers with fanatics and being involved in like the NFL with the titles, the best merch, the cleanest. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. WWE makes crispy merch, dude. It's fucking clean. They make some clean prints, dude. So do you want to go that route? Like, where are we looking at the presentation of the superstars, the way they look, the wrestlers' gear? Just everything, the way they pull it off week after week after week on Netflix, sellouts all over the globe, the fan reaction, the fanfare. That's the worst promotion of the fucking year, dude.
Baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
It doesn't even make fucking sense. It's utterly fucking cooked madness. The worst promotion, not NWA, because no one's talking about it. Not JCW. Not like, are you going to tell me fucking Ring of Honor's cooking harder? Ring of Honor's, it's a promotion, right? Ring of Honor's cooked harder than fucking WWE in 2025. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? With everything everyone did, the rise of Vaquer, Jade Cargill, Naomi with her heel turn, Cena's last ride. Honestly, AJ Styles' last ride as well, which I told you, motherfuckers, bunch of people fucking retiring. You had all of they drew everywhere they fucking went. Their house shows draw more than fucking 10 AEW Dynamites. And somehow the worst promotion of the year is WWE, but they had the #1 box office draw. And according to Dave Meltzer, the business is just all about making money. That's his own words. So how does that make fucking sense? That it's the worst promotion of the year? Not even like GCW or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like not even TNA. Like let's just say. And not to shit on them, but it's like, how do you stack up? I'd say worst promotion of the year, hands down, was AEW. Zero fucking storylines. And this isn't me just trying to be a hater. I watch every fucking Dynamite and Collision and shit. I sit here and put myself through it every week. Worst storylines. In 2026, they're doing some good shit with Andrade and stuff. I won't fucking lie. Worst fucking storylines. Nothing meant anything when Mox finally dropped the title. You can just objectively look at the metrics that their fucking ticket sales are the lowest they've been. They had to switch from Dave Meltzer literally saying shit like poor people don't like AEW.
Poor people don't like AEW.
To all of a sudden, they're all coping by going, oh, it's family-friendly entertainment, and we got cheap tickets, guys. They average like under 2,000 tickets per Dynamite. The TV ratings have matched their lowest of all time. They've done their lowest of all time. They've beaten their lowest of all time last year. They did their lowest and then beat that lowest all in the same year. Key demos, the worst that they've done. And then the pay-per-view numbers got exposed. Dave Meltzer got exposed for lying about those. They're just a complete and utter anomaly. The numbers don't even match up to Attitude Era fucking numbers. And for some reason, AEW does better than the Attitude Era was doing in pay-per-view pay-per-view sales, if you match it up percentage-wise. And we expose that. So all of these things, they just completely shit the bed. They didn't build any stars. Think about where everyone is right now. Moxley's holding a title. It's meaningless. You barely see him. MJF coming and going. He's got the world title, okay, but he's just coming and going as he pleases, is what it is. Adam Page just held the title for a bit to start this year. He's fucking gone. Samoa Joe's hurt again. Fletcher's just got the TNT title back. Couldn't even win the C2. Couldn't even win the fucking C2 and get propelled up to like the next level. Everyone's just in the exact same spot they were a year ago. Or before that. Private Party come back. Oh, they beat them. They're doing FTR Bucks again. Everyone's in the same fucking spot. It's cooked, man. It's fucking cooked. No one's getting over. No one's taking it to the next level. They do a fucking bump in the ratings increase, and the ratings increases. That's across the board for wrestling. Then they're right back down to their fucking shitty numbers. After Dave's like, oh, the peak of WWE's over and AEW's crushing. It's crazy, man. It's madness. Grand Slam, none of the dirt sheets are covering how in Australia they don't fucking... there's no hype around the fucking show. And then how they were gouging for tickets again. But now everyone's like, oh, 25% off WrestleMania, which, yeah, that's cooked, but tourism in fucking Vegas is down. Everybody knows this shit. And it's not even an excuse. WWE's dumb as fuck for doing 2 years in a row in any fucking city. Fully, I agree with that. But worst promotional tactic, worst promotion of the year, WWE, and then most disgusting promotional tactic should be the fact that Dave Meltzer admitted this year that Tony Khan calls him on the phone to book the fucking
best guys,
shows.
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan calls him and checks in with him and promised him in 2019. And then Dave Meltzer got a call from Tone. Dave admitted that he was pushing for them to not do the overrun of the match from the pre-show to the pay-per-view. And when I talked about that on Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week, the Observer, Wrestling Observer, fucking copyright struck me.
Tony Khan.
Wonder why that fucking happened. Weird. Most disgusting tactic is booking for Dave Meltzer. Fuck are we talking about here? Worst promotion WWE. Yeah, of course you and your sycophants vote that shit. That's crazy. Not even NWA. Bro, in JCW, they're sniffing cocaine off of a girl named Ringrat's ass. Literally. And I know that's in 26, but was that taped in 25? I don't know. Lex, when was that shit taped?
I don't know!
Me neither, dude. But it's like, come on now. Come the fuck on now. Best booker, Tony Khan.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
Like, holy shit. How many fucking 8-man all-star matches did he do? How many times did he just pull a casino gauntlet out of his ass just because? And it's not like it's on its own pay-per-view or anything like that. They don't save it for a special event, double or nothing. He just pulls it out of his ass. Meanwhile, the match type is retarded and doesn't even make sense. Because if it's just first fall to a finish, then why in kayfabe and in real life am I supposed to believe that there's 15 guys waiting back there to just come out? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, Nigel McGuinness out of retirement in this casino battle royal gauntlet, even though if the first 3 guys if one of them pinned each other, the match would be done. So he was planning on coming out of retirement just to not even end up getting booked in kayfabe is what we're supposed to, like, it's insulting to our intelligence. When Tony Khan does these backstage segments, let's talk about it. Trick Williams. Let's talk about it. I got my lemon pepper steppers on right now. When Tony Khan, this is how he quote unquote books these matches in kayfabe. He does Instagram lives where he fucking stands there and goes, oh yeah, this is an art. This is a painting that I made in the 8th grade and I just really love it. And I'm on the Super Yacht Kismet. And right now, tonight and next week, we're going to have the Babes of Wrath versus the Sisters of Sin, who are also the Triangle of Death. And don't forget the Conglomerate next Saturday. And he does these like 12-minute fucking match rundowns and jumps all over the place and they make no fucking sense. And then the wrestlers in kayfabe interrupt him and he's looking at the camera and talking to everyone like Steve from fucking Blue's Clues, like it's a children's show. And he's like, oh, isn't this? And he looks like fucking, he looks like Mark Zuckerberg, like I am human con. And in kayfabe, that's supposed to be him like booking the matches. Oh, well, Moxley stormed in this room and he really wanted a match. And it's like, buddy, you're insulting everyone's intelligence. This is like 1994 WWF, where it's like, oh, the librarian. Oh, the gooner. He wears ice skates. The gooner. The goon. The fucking gobbledygooker and shit. He's a turkey. Yeah, you're a turkey. You're going to be a goddamn turkey. Or you're right? Yeah, I know. He's gonna be a fucking mailman. Yeah, you're gonna throw the mail at these sons of bitches. Like you're just insulting people's intelligence, talking to them like they're fucking children. There's no rhyme or reason. Nobody's more over. Kyle Fletcher's the TNT champion right now. Again. In 26, just in a fucking random ladder match. The Bucks FTR again. Okay? Everyone's in the same fucking position. Nobody's more over. There's not one star. There's not one person who's been developed in AEW that you can point to and go, oh yeah, they're drawing for AEW because Tone developed them into a star. Maybe MJF, you could argue. But is he drawing? The numbers are the same or they're low still. So is he really drawing for them? I don't know. The only person you can really point to that's drawn for them is Joe, but he's just fucking Joe. He was over in TNA. He's in WWE. It's fucking Joe. He's over with or without Tone. He's a net positive to any wrestling company. Even people like Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, the fall off is real. Moxley's the fucking MVP. He's lost them all their ratings and viewers and attendance and all their fucking ticket sales. Literally, he's world champion running around, putting plastic bags over people's heads, pulling pigeons out of their assholes and drowning them in fucking fish bowls and impaling himself on spiked nail 2x4s. And they're losing, hemorrhaging viewers and ticket sales that they had if you go back a few years. How the fuck is he the MVP? How is that Booker of the Year? I thought it was all about making money.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
So how does this make sense? And then also Tone got caught like papering houses, insanely papering them. heavily papering houses. We just read on PWT Live Show as well last night that a firsthand account that the California show, they did 4,000 people there for Dynamite, and a motherfucker was like, yeah, I'm at my gym, I'm at my training gym, and they came down and AEW gave everyone 2 tickets each. So that means how many fucking places did they give everyone 2 tickets each? They're papering the fuck out of houses. Because when they go to Cali, if they don't draw, it's a fucking embarrassment. Because fucking PWG, if they just did Pro Wrestle Gorilla, it would fucking draw as much as a Dynamite if they didn't paper it. It's embarrassing. So how is that booker of the fucking year? How's that the best booker? The guy who just falls back on a $500,000 tag match, a $100,000 8-man tag match, $1 million. The guy who does the international title, he introduces women's tag titles and then does the international champion and then fucking does the women's titles after, and then no one gives a fuck, or whatever order he did that in. He like started one, started the other, finished the other first, and then ended the other one with the it's like, what the fuck? The guy who fucking makes a title called the unified title, where it's 2 titles unified, and then a guy loses a match, so he still has 1 title, and then the other title's gone, and then there's no unified title. But then what was the point of unifying the fucking titles? This is this guy's booking. The guy who brings Alex Windsor in, pushes her to a fucking title shot, she loses, all of a sudden you're in ROH, all of a sudden now you're in a tag team with Jamie Hayter. And just a complete afterthought, no one's even thinking about you. That's good booking? That's fucking terrible. That is the worst booking of all time. Tone is like legit one of the worst. He makes every mistake that every bad booker ever fucking made, or that he makes the mistakes that every good booker ever, all the mistakes they made. He's not good at booking women. He's not good at booking fucking, he does way too many death matches and shit. He's not good at booking, like, so the title switches this last Dynamite, you had Ciampa and fucking Statlander both drop their belts. And think about this too. Ciampa dropped his belt to Fletcher after he beat Briscoe, but Briscoe beat Fletcher. So now instead of it being like a 3-way or something like that, some sort of dynamic where you could tell a story there, it's just Fletcher versus Briscoe in a ladder match.
Stupid
Why?
idiot.
None of that shit even makes sense. Fucking terrible. I have no idea how that's the best booker, other than he calls Dave. This is why he's the best booker, because Dave is
The best
also
guy is
booking.
Tony Khan.
So he deemed himself the best booker because Dave gets on the phone and says, tells Tony, oh no, don't do that overrun thing on the pay-per-view thing. And people were actually putting it over. They're like, oh, it was unique. It was cool. He did that. Some people were shitting on it, but Dave was all glib about it. Why? Because even he tried to tell Tone not do it. And then Tone fucking did it anyways. And I'm glad Tone did it because it was something different. But then what did they do? They hot-shotted it, and the very next pay-per-view, they fucking did it again.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Because Tone's not a good booker. If he was a good booker, he wouldn't have done it a fucking again immediately right after. So the promoter of the year, guys. The promoter of the year. Salvador Luderoth. Salvador Luderoth? Huh? Here's the problem, right? You look at some of the great promoters in the history, right? Don King, Dana White, Vince McMahon, Paul Heyman, even a great promoter. Eddie Hearn, even. You want to go like promoters, right? We're talking promoters, the great promoters. Scott Coker was a fucking pretty solid promoter, right? If you go and say, Triple H and promoter and booker are 2 different things, but now they kind of get lumped together. So it's weird that like promoter of the year, booker of the year, it's kind of the same thing because Triple H sort of assumes both roles, and so does Tony Khan. And it's weird that Tone's the booker of the year, but he's not the promoter of the year. He doesn't do good promotion. It's so fucking stupid. If you're a good promoter, people know your name too. People know who you are as well. If you're a good promoter, Brett Lauderdale is the promoter for GCW. Now, he doesn't promote and book every single fucking GCW show. I think he clears it, but it's not like he might be the end all be all on every single show, but it's, GCW run shows, whatever. Someone could technically break it down. I'm sure JJ could technically break it down for me. But Brett Lauderdale, even we know as like he's a promoter for GCW. Now in Mexico, again, if you go to every person who knows who Salvador Luderoth is, they also know who Triple H and WWE and every mainstream WWE, and they sell out when they go to Mexico, and AAA go, and there's this big fucking deal. And look at what AAA is doing. Like, so they're not in the mix. Maybe you give it to him for repeatedly selling out the same building. I think it's more impressive to go to different cities all over a country and sell out. I think that's better promoting. And everybody cries about, well, Triple H is in everything. Oh, so he's promoting the shit out of everything. And it's good promotion because look at the business they're doing. Well, what about WrestleMania 42? They're cutting prices and they'll end up just slashing them till they're so fucking cheap, and then they'll comp a bunch at the end, and it won't be papered the way fucking All In is, but they'll fill it up. They'll find a way. UFC does this too. When it's just overpriced, it gets close to nut cutting time, Dana will just give a bunch of fucking tickets away, or they just start hawking them super fucking cheap. It is what it is, man. You're not going to knock it out of the park every time. No one's trying to go to Vegas, though. This is something, and here's the thing, too. You can point to this, so Dave's trying to make it like a WWE bad thing. No, the Vegas WrestleMania thing is an objective fucking across the board everywhere in the entertainment industry, everywhere. Other fucking media outlets are talking about how tourism in Vegas and the prices in Vegas are just outrageous. No one wants to go to fucking Vegas right now. No one wants to go to America right now. Last year, they already did it in Vegas. The people who went to the Vegas were saying, listen, it was fun, but I hope they do it somewhere else. No one really wanted it in Vegas. It is an L on WWE's part, and they're going to have to bite it. And the drawing capability, we see it on display every week. It's just that they're trying to do this mega event where they're gouging for fucking ticket prices. People can't afford the shit, and no one's trying to go to Vegas right now, period. Across the board. Not to see Celine Dion, not to see Shania Twain. What? Not to see Britney Spears. I don't even know if she got a goddamn show there, kid. What? Okay? But the best promoter, I would say the best promoter is the one that across the globe, everyone goes, oh yeah, we know that promoter. So that would be Triple H or Nick Khan, whoever you want to give it to. Salvador Luderoth, because he filled the same building that they own, that the company he works for owns, and the tickets are $8 tickets, and it's a hangout. Even if you don't like the matches, it's a fucking hangout. And they drew the same people over and over and over and over again, not across country. Is that really the best promoter? The best local promoter? And not even to shit on it. Hey, I'm a local club promoter in LA. I promote for these 2 different clubs, and I get them packed every week, and I'm crushing it. Yeah, dude, in LA, that's LA's hottest promoter. That's what you'd say. In the entertainment industry, we go, oh yeah, that's New York's hottest fucking promoter right now. So that's Mexico's hottest promoter, but the overall of pro wrestling promoter of the year? Fuck are we talking about, man? Fuck are we talking about? This shit is crazy. So moving along, the best gimmick, timeless Tony Storm. It's the most outlandish. It's the most creative. It's the most like a cartoon character. It's the most like taking a chance and being more than like, the Undertaker is supposed to be this dead man zombie guy. People kind of grew out of the hokey. We just talked about the gobbledygookers and the garbage men and shit. Undertaker fits in that category, but he was able to evolve it. He took a bit of a hiatus and did the biker thing, but he was able to evolve it into like, we accept, the boogeyman is out there as like a gimmick that even though wrestling's a little more real, shall we say. We're willing to accept that as like, because he performs it well. We're like, oh shit, this guy's eating worms and missing teeth and he's all fucking crazy. Like, it's an outlandish, out there gimmick. So, okay, maybe Toni Storm best gimmick. Because you got to give her points for like, it's out there. But Obafemi's like that too. I mean, he does the rula, like he has the fake accent and stuff, and he probably, you know, Obafemi basically doing M'Baku from Marvel Comics, right? I would say that's a really good gimmick, and he's out there with it. Like the pose he hits, everyone he wears the furs. He's like, I'm the rula. He doesn't even talk like that. He's talking like he's from Wakanda and shit. You know, that is I would say that's got to be up there. Now I don't know like if that was number 2 or 3 or what. Gimmick though, we're talking gimmick. So okay, I could see it being Toni Storm, being fair here, just because like it's out there. Or MJF, but like, what did he really do in 25? You know, because he's doing a gimmick too. Like, let's be honest, he's not that big of an asshole in person. So, I'm trying to think any other gimmicks. Like a dead man gimmick. El Clone. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you there. I'll just say I'm with you on Timeless Toni Storm, or I'd go MJF or Obafemi. Worst gimmick, heel John Cena. The worst gimmick. Meanwhile, he cooked every promo. He got the most fucking heat. He fucking smashed everything out of the park. It was all good. It's not what the people wanted to see him retire as, was a fucking heel. That's the only problem with it. So it wasn't the worst gimmick by any means. Hologram or El Clone is one of the worst gimmicks. Okay? There are way worse fucking gimmicks. How about what MXM are doing? And they're shitty fucking, they're dumb, like, oh, let's make sex jokes in front of the Rizzler. Because that's not creepy at all. Epstein, lock him up. But like, how about what MXM is doing? That's like the worst gimmick. They were doing it in WWE and everyone shit all over it. But they go and do it in AEW and Ring of Honor, and it's just as cringe, and no one bats an eyelash. That's fucking cooked, man. There's way worse gimmicks. There's the fucking Invisible Man is a gimmick. Right? There's way worse gimmicks than that. So, heel John Cena, the worst? You mean the top drawing heel gimmick of all of fucking last year?
Shut up, bitch!
Fucking crazy. So, that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer Newsletter 2025 awards. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play this dumbass a flute for that one. Absolutely maddening and fucking crazy. I have a couple more quick ones for you guys. And don't forget, there are bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week on patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. The second one's getting uploaded right away. I just had the flu, so I'm like a day behind on edits and fucking clips and everything. So this is a one-man army over here, okay? This is a one-man show. But we have Dave Meltzer getting caught lying and being exposed for lying, as I just said 3 or 4 fucking times, about Brody King and Royce Keys, aka Powerhouse Hobbs' age. Okay, so people melted down, and Luigi Wrestling posted this and said, Dave Meltzer, okay, let me hit translate on this, pardon me. So I'm translating. Dave Meltzer said in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer that Royce Keys, Powerhouse Hobbs, is a 41-year-old and not 35. Up until now, the record showed that he was born in 1991. Well, the thing is, so now these guys go on like a fucking doxing spree or what? Like, what are they doing here? Pulling up people sleuth it out and get his personal info, then are dropping screen grabs of his fucking, like, guys, what are we doing here, man?
Dummy. Yeah.
And so this guy continues along and says, well, the thing is that no one named William Hobson, his real name, was born in California in the year 1991, but there is one in 1985. So in reality, Royce Keys is 41 years old. Sources like Wikipedia or Cage Match corrected it today. This does not mean that he was fired by WWE. So a bunch of sickos online were like, oh, he got fired for lying about his age. No. And in the entertainment industry, let me tell you something. People lie about their fucking ages, especially
Sometimes
women.
in life,
dude.
you gotta be a hoe.
Especially fucking women in that regard. And especially back in the day before the fucking internet. You'd lie, shave a few years off. And it's just what you fucking do, right? Now, is he doing that to keep some longevity on his career? Possibly, yeah. Was he doing that to because he didn't want to get fucking, you know, booked as someone like, oh, he's old and he's passe, you know, he's old now? Because in the wrestling business, once you hit 40, it's kind of like, oh, that's a wash. That's how people look at it. Yeah, he may have fucking done that. Is it really that big of a fucking deal? Does it really fucking matter?
You what?
At the end of the day, no. Now, if he was doing it and he was like scamming money off of the government to fucking or something like that, yeah, okay, then that's a problem. But as a guy in the entertainment business trying to not be called washed and wanting to get a fucking push, who gives a shit? And also WWE, and I was saying it on my show for a while. I thought he was older than that and shit. And so Dave comes out, and we're going to show you guys how Dave gets owned because he was hiding this fact. And again, I'm not trying to throw Royce under the bus on this one, but he was hiding the fact that of Royce's age. Dave was actively while he was in AEW. And then as soon as he went to WWE, he fucking couldn't wait to put it out there and stir some shit up. Dave is genuinely a piece of shit.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
So, Royce Keys is 41 years old. Sources like Wikipedia. Okay, this does not mean he was fired by WWE for this or anything like that. But yes, up until now, it was believed that he was 35, and that's not the case. So now maybe if he falsified his shit, and I don't even want to show that. That's cringe. So maybe if he falsified his shit to get into WWE as well, maybe that would drum up some problems. I bet you anything, though, that he was 100% transparent with WWE, but he wasn't with Tony Khan because Tony Khan's
The best guy is
mark.
Tony Khan.
Okay. And so the thing is that WWE doesn't give a fuck if you're 40, guys. They'll still give you a run when you're 40. It's about 3 to 5 year windows. People take care of their bodies better now. You can get big and jacked like Hobbs, still doing roids, but doing them in a much safer manner or fashion than people used to do it. It's not just needles in the ass and whatever the fuck. There's ways to get big that, and I don't know, maybe there's long-term health effects, but people, there's safe ways of doing this shit nowadays to get that big and jacked that are much safer than they were in the past. Let me just word it that way. And times have changed, and people are healthier. They have more longevity in their careers. People aren't fucking unable to move when they're 47 like they used to be. And there's guys like AJ Styles and Finn Balor and Royce Keys and LA Knight and Cody Rhodes and fucking some of these dudes who peak when they're 40 and shit like that. You're going to see more and more of that happen. People do side-by-side comparisons of like Arn Anderson when he was 27 looking like he's fucking 45. People have done images of like Hulk Hogan when he was 40 looking like he was fucking in his 50s or 60s even, you know, and it is what it is. You see the newer generations, the younger generations, they look a little bit better. It's just not a big deal. And anybody like trying to say he was going to get fired for this or encouraging him getting fired for this, you're a fucking asshole. It's not even a fireable offense. It's fireable. It's an offense if like he lied about his age and the cutoff age to get on this sports team is this certain age. And then he's out there crushing it, and he's older than everyone, or like he's lying about his age to get tax breaks or some fucking scummy shit like that. Yeah, we'd be like, what the fuck? But it's nothing criminal. It's just he's trying to preserve himself in the entertainment business, and not by doing anything nefarious or illegal necessarily. Now, some people might go, oh, come on now, Phil, that's not very fair. It is actually highly illegal to falsify your documentation or something like that. Okay, I guarantee you he was upfront and honest with WWE, and if he wasn't, they probably laughed about it because they'd assigned his ass anyways, and then people saying he got fired, it's like, fuck you. But Dave gets completely fucking called out on this. So look at this. February 9th Observer versus February 2nd Observer. So let's read the February 2nd, right? So Dave somehow like gathered this information and then put it out there. And I put a tweet out saying Dave is either retarded and doesn't know and doesn't like edit his stuff and accidentally typoed his age wrong. And this is before I saw this sleuthing of like, oh, there wasn't a guy born in California at this time and shit. Like, if that's all real, fuck, that's crazy. But either Dave like doesn't have an editor, doesn't edit shit, and he typoed it, or like he was hiding this and then dug it up and then just slipped it into his fucking dirt sheet, his shit rag. Let's read here, though. He talked about earlier in February, so this was like a couple weeks ago, if WWE did offer him similar money, in theory, it would guarantee a decent push, although in the end, and this is a run-on sentence, guys. Like, why you got to do a run-on? Oh, man, look at how long this run-on is here. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commas. 5 commas in one fucking sentence, buddy.
Meltzer Inferno.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. So Dave Meltzer, this is one sentence. I'm going to try and read it. He goes, actually, if WWE did offer him similar money, in theory, it would guarantee a decent push. Although in the end, as Rusev shows, he was groomed to go to the finals of the King of the Ring and get a title shot at Jey Uso, neither of which materialized. They are going to push the guys who get over in the long run. Bro, that's a paragraph, buddy. Oh, man. So as Rusev shows, so he compares him to Rusev. No, you don't get it. Rusev already had his run in WWE. Dave, he's not going back there to be like, this could be a potential main eventer again. Like, if it happens, sweet, but that's not his position there, buddy. You're confusing the two. And so Dave goes on to say, evidently, he felt that WWE could make him a bigger star. There were people saying AEW should have, but if you look at the entire package, the tier 1 guys, what does tier 1 guys mean, Dave? What's this vernacular, tier 1 guys? Who, like Edge? He doesn't work there barely. He just shows up randomly, has a match, and then dips out. He doesn't work in AEW barely. And he's getting millions. So what the fuck does this mean, tier 1 guys? Like, you mean all the guys who came from WWE? You mean like Mox and Edge and Samoa Joe and Danielson, all the WWE guys who came over, like Jericho. That's who you're talking about? It would be hard to argue he should have been ahead of them. No, he should have fucking beat Kenny Omega. They should have built him up, and he should have beat Omega and Hangman and Moxley. And yeah, he should have been ahead of all those guys. Now, if you're just talking money, well, Tone's a fucking money mark. So that's not even a topic. You can't even talk about that. He's just going to pay everyone more. And of course, the tier 1 guys, whatever that means, Dave's using like insider. He's looking at the pay sheets, tier 1. I mean, it's like a Freudian slip. But he says, I'd say the same in WWE, but at 35, all things being equal, WWE, whatever, at least similar money, you do go where you now have a fresh coat of paint. So again, he's like at 35 of all things or whatever. So then a week later, more on Royce Keys, William Hobson, 41. The note last week was incorrect in the sense that the AEW offer for him. So Dave also just self-felting, right? Felting himself right here by having to correct his own bullshit from his shit rag. But then also, because he had to correct the record on this Hobbs shit, that's why he slipped in the 41. I promise you, Dave's a petty little bitch. And only Phil Marks will point that shit out for you guys, okay? So the note last week was incorrect in the sense that the AEW offer for him was said to be not close to what Bryan Danielson got to jump. So if you remember, and I called it out, and Phil Marks was right. Who would have
just
thunk
in
it?
from Phil Marks of PWT. He says, I told you so.
Like, I called it out. It's like, bro, and I called out the fucking numbers, okay? Danielson getting fucking $2 million a year. Are you telling me Hobbs is getting $2 million a year, bro? You're a liar. So we had to correct that. Got to jump, but still a very strong 5-year contract offer. The belief is that he committed to WWE sometime back, since those in WWE had been expecting him. So Dave trying to create the notion that there's fucking contract tampering, WWE had been expecting him to come when his AEW deal was up for several months. If you look at how Tony Khan usually books, I don't get the sense Khan was expecting him to leave even though he hadn't signed. What do you mean? If you look at how Tony books, then he wasn't expecting him to leave. Why? Because he just last minute threw him in a match to lose? That's what he does to everybody who fucking leaves, Dave. You dumbass. You dumb fucking dumbass. That's what he does to everybody. Just ask Lexus King or Big Swole or any of these motherfuckers. You just lose and then you're fucking gone. So the fuck are you talking about? You need to study and learn, Dave. He hadn't signed a new deal, given blah, blah, blah. Listen, Dave had to correct his story about Hobbs, and I pwned him on this show that he's absolutely listening to, and that's why he fucking dropped that. I promise you. And because I dismantled his critique of Royce Keys, Powerhouse Hobbs in the Royal Rumble. Okay? So now Dave gets pwned a fucking again, and I wrote this. Yeah, that's my tweet. Dave Meltzer is a redact who doesn't know how to edit his shit rag at the least, or a con artist who's been hiding shit for AEW at the worst. And again, it's not to shit on Royce Keys. His age does not matter, but Dave was clearly hiding shit for them, or he just like did a misprint, or he's just bitter. There's 3 options here, right? And I pointed them all out. So, as you guys know, and sorry for all the scrolling, guys, close your eyes for 2 seconds. Close your eyes. Look in my eyes. What do you see? Because I got to scroll through this and just find a couple things here on Brody King and WBD, because Dave Meltzer got smashed to oblivion by WBD. Now, he talks all this shit about WBD and he knows execs and blah, 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 blibbly blue. But the motherfucker continues to lie. And he put it on WBD about Brody King not being on Dynamite because of the fuck ice chance. Now, we covered this on PWT Live Show, Time Cop, but I just wanted to get in more depth with it. And Dave all the time talks about, like, he knows execs and he knows this and that, and he has insiders and all this shit. And they won't come out and say, like, yeah, well, your numbers are confirmed, Dave. But they come out to tell him to shut the fuck up when he keeps putting shit on them. Shut up, bitch! And I maintain the theory, Austin theory, I maintain that Dave Meltzer was talking shit and putting blame, and Tony Khan and Brian Alvarez and them were putting blame on WBD after Tone did interviews and said, if Jay Briscoe was still alive, he'd be allowed to wrestle. On this show, I just talked to WBD and Zaslav, and he'd be allowed on TV. Then, like, a month later, Trey Miguel gets released right after he's already hired, and apparently it's WBD's call. And I was like, horse shit. And Dave and them all ran with it. And they were like, well, that's the story he heard, so we should all go with that. And it was like, well, what are you guys protecting? What are you covering up? It just feels like Epstein cover-ups, guys. And then what happens is WBD takes all the heat for that. And then now the fuck ice thing goes down and the media landscape's moving a little more conservative, right, in that direction. And then AEW, apparently, according to the dirt sheets, they were like, oh, we loved the publicity we got from that shit. And then Brody King's not on the show, and Dave Meltzer goes, well, it was from higher ups. It was their call. It was WBD's call, Brian. It wasn't Tony Khan's call. They should have had a segment, but it was WBD's call. And I maintain that WBD's like, dude, stop putting shit on us. Stop saying this shit. They didn't go right at Dave, but it comes directly from Dave that's the case. And he's such a bad journalist that he couldn't have called. Apparently, he has sources in Saudi Arabia and in the government and in the entertainment business and at AEW. And he has all of these inside sources. Literally, Dave thinks he's an expert in politics, wrestling, and the media. And he has sources and all of this shit. And nobody knows this shit better than him. But meanwhile, when a topic involves 3 of his expertises. Imagine it's not just one of your expertises, it's 3 of your expertises.
Poor people don't like AEW.
And then Dave can't get a fucking clue on any of that shit. He's just wrong about it 3 ways from fucking Sunday. And he just completely makes up a lie to protect Tone's bad booking, Booker of the Year. Oh, you mean Tone's bad booking where he didn't even get Brody Lee on the fucking show? He couldn't even film a backstage thing between him and MJF. And even Dave's like, oh, he should have been on the show, so Tony's a bad booker. Okay, awesome. And so Meltzer said what? The absolute GOAT, friend of the show, buddy of mine. Right, I probably DM with him fucking back and forth with him more than anybody in the goddamn world. I gotta be honest. Meltzer said what the GOAT says. Dynamite Dave caught red-handed lying. He claimed it was not Tony's call and someone above. Now, after WBD debunked his lie, Dave's website is pretending he was just speculating. He declared it as if he knew it factually. Quote, tweet me, I dare you, Dave Meltzer. And he tagged Julian Weeks. Shout out Julian Weeks because Dave Meltzer, after stating, like, yeah, it was fucking on the higher ups. And we covered that. I could pull it. It might be in these bookmarks, but I covered that on PWT Live Show already. I showed the text where Dave Meltzer's like, oh, it was from them. It was from WBD. It was from up above the world so high, Brian. Like 5 stars that are in the sky, Tony Khan.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
Twinkle, twinkle, shiny flute. Phil Marks just gave me the boot. So Dave Meltzer says, those at AEW have said nobody from WBD asked them not to use Brody King on last night's show, and this was just how it was booked, to only use him in a video package. And then other people like Thurston and them came out, like Post Wrestling and PWI came out, and they were like, hey, man, apparently he was never booked to be on the show and shit like that. And it's funny that Dave is now tweeting this out. So he tells everyone, read my thing. You could learn about wrestling if you read my Wrestling Observer newsletter, the Holy Bible of Pro Wrestling, Brian, right? He says that, but in that shit rag and on their shitty radio show, he fucking lied about this shit. And then he puts a tweet out. And I always say this, Dave, you don't address shit in tweets. Like, you talk all this shit in tweets. You say lies in tweets. And then you tell people to read your shit rag. And then you lie in your shit rag. And you don't correct the record on either side of things. So some shit he officially posted, he licks off a tweet about to correct. So we're supposed to just stan Dave Meltzer. Do you guys get how his mentality works? I'm giving you an insight on his psyche. Like, he expects you to stand every fucking thing. Like, imagine if I came on here and got mad. Oh, not all of you guys watched what I did on my Phil Marks Out channel, where I'm talking about fucking comic books or superhero movies. You guys didn't all go check that out. Yeah, you're fucking wrestling. You're not going to follow every single fucking thing I do. It's crazy. And Dave expects that out of everybody. And that's why he's in his fucking bubble, right? And so Dave Meltzer, like Alfred Kunawa, he has muted. He won't, because he'll look at Kanawa when it's an opportune time to attack him, right? But me, I'm just outright blocked because he knows I will fucking break him down psychologically. I'll put him in the fucking padded room with the straitjacket on. Dave will lose his goddamn mind. Period. Okay?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
If he squared off with your boy. So, yeah, he had this to say. We had heard over the weekend that there were concerns about how much pub the situation had gotten from the WBD side, but those at AEW said they were not told to put him on the show. So then why didn't you just talk to Tone and say that? So you were told over the weekend a fucking lie, according to you, which is more than likely a lie because you talked to people in AEW and then they corrected the record on some shit you made up. And instead of just saying, I made that shit up, you sit there and just spew more lies. And so Julian Weeks says, so either you lied or WBD is trying to save face. Which one is it? And then he goes, don't act like you see my tweet. You quote tweet me multiple times per week. Don't be shy now. You know? And Nicolo Piccolo's like, WBD doesn't give a fuck. Fake news. And Dave Meltzer's just a fucking loser here. So we have a clip to play. Let's read this excerpt. So during Wednesday's Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer speculated that the reason King wasn't live was the fear of more anti-ice chants, saying this is again not a Tony Khan call. This is from above. Just sweeping, protecting his son Tony Khan, dude. Because and why? Because Tony's a bad booker and he books for Dave. And Dave, after just awarding Tone the best booker, has to now sweep for his shitty
best guys,
booking.
Tony Khan.
That's what this is, okay? So, Dave Meltzer speculated that the reason King... Nope, he said it matter-of-factly. He said it matter-of-factly. He said it matter-of-factly. So let's not sit here and fucking pretend he didn't say it. Matter-of-factly, all right? So Meltzer said he speculated the reason he wasn't live was the fear of more anti-ice chants, saying this is again not a Tony Khan call. This from above. You know what it is. Nobody wants to get on Trump's bad side. If it wasn't for that, nobody would care. It's just a chant, but unfortunately, WBD have got a company they're trying to sell and get regulatory approval from a guy who's going to take that stuff personal. That's just how it is. So they sit here and go, he speculated. Then they quote him going, this is again, definitively saying, this is again not a Tony Khan call. This is from above. You know what it is. Then he attributes all of the reasoning as to why WBD were the ones who pulled the plug and pulled the cord on that shit. But he's fucking lying because then they try to spin it as if it's a speculation.
Liar!
People read this. People pay for this and read it and get mad at me that I do this fucking show. Exposing this loser. Holy
liar!
Fuck.
Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
No, Dave, you said it definitively and then did a paragraph of attribution as to why they would be upset. Fucking dumbass. Jesus, fuck, man. And people lap this up and get mad at me. Oh, you're obsessed with Dave. No, it doesn't matter. It's funny to fucking A-log people. I don't give a shit what anybody has to say. If you don't agree, don't fucking tune in. I'm sorry. Okay? I don't know what to fucking tell you. But, you know, there's 50 years of toxic bullshit and lies that we have to fucking expose. So it's okay for people to just lie to you and steal people's money for it. Literal grifting. Huh. So that's okay with people. You know? But calling this shithead out on his bullshit is not okay with people. Crazy to me. I'll never understand. But here's a clip. Let's play the clip. Let's listen to some audio here. I'm dying for it.
When he comes back, it will happen again. I don't know how they're going to handle it. You know, maybe they're hoping it goes away. This is, again, not a Tony call. This is from above.
And here's the problem. Well, I guess I read this. We'll just listen to Dave say it from his own chicken lips, to quote one Jim Cornette. But It's just a fucking, it's just such bullshit. Here, let's just play this a bit more. Let's get through it. I already read this, so let me just get through this clip, then I'll rant more.
Nobody wants to get on Trump's bad side. If it wasn't for that, nobody would care. It's just a chant. But
Dave, no one cares. Sorry, I have to interrupt it. It's what JJ said last night again. PWT live show every Wednesday and Saturday. Listen, guys. It was that crowd. It was that isolated crowd. Like, he did the fuck ice thing, and then he was on TV for how many months, and they weren't chanting fuck ice in every market. So in that building with those 1,200 people, they were all on that time. They were all on that same energy. This isn't going to be a problem anywhere else. And Dave is sweeping for Tone's bad booking. Sorry, I promise I'll play this clip without fucking...
I mean, they got a company that they're trying to sell and get regulatory approval from a guy who, is going to take that stuff personal. I mean, that's just how it is. So, yeah, no Brody King on the show when he absolutely, of course, Brody King and MJF should have had a segment on the show. But I really don't want to complain about that because.
But I won't complain about it. But I don't want to complain about. But Marty Scurll and Hangman. But I don't want to complain about it because, they have to keep him off TV. So then was it bad to book him and let him wear a fuck ice thing? At what point does he just go, Tone's a bad booker? The best guy's Tony Khan. And then now it comes out that's a lie. So Tone just couldn't send Brody King to Australia a day later.
They've had a lot of TV time and there was no... yeah, sure, you could take out that Garcia match, but even then, that had a purpose to building up the hair match. Everything had a purpose.
The hair match.
Saturday night.
That had Garcia's match had a purpose on Dynamite because Garcia has purpose at all in AEW. What the fuck?
Saturday night is essentially like a pay-per-view. Can you imagine on Saturday night, going against the Olympics, going against... the slam dunk contest, although the slam dunk contest is a little earlier.
The whole world's against us, Brian. How many people who watch AEW are also watching the Olympics and watching the slam dunk contest? Dave, it's only fucking sickos who watch Jesus.
So it's not going to go against the whole show, but it's going against the beginning of the show. So it's like, it's Valentine's Day as well. It is a tough night. It is a great television card. I mean, tonight's card was great, but the card on Saturday is much better than tonight. But I'll tell you what, when this thing was over, it's like everything that he's got coming up, between this LA pay-per-view.
Oh my God, David, everything he's got is just, oh my God, Brian. It's just going to be spectacular, Brian.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It's just going to be spectacular. A series of spectacular events, Brian. What the fuck, man? So, just a couple more guys here. Brody King not being on Dynamite. So this gets responded to. And Brian Alvarez actually calls Dave out for this nonsense. And I thought I had a clip for it. I should. BJ Bethel runs cover too. But Brody King not being on AEW Dynamite last night after recent fuck ice chants was reportedly a call from above Tony Khan, as nobody wants to get on Trump's bad side. So they just quote it here. And then we read it on the show last night, Time Cop PWT live show, but WBD came out with a statement and was like, this isn't true. It had nothing to do with the chance. We look forward. They even said that we look forward to seeing Brody King at our next Saturday event with AEW, like in less words or however they worded it. Like, he's slated to be on our show on Saturday. No plans have changed. And they just shut Dave completely down. But then BJ Bethel comes out and he's like, Brody King was at AEW Dynamite on Wednesday in Ontario, California. Contrary to reports, he wasn't at the show. He and other wrestlers left after Dynamite was off the air. And then Brian Alvarez is like, I was told he was on the plane by someone who was on the plane with him. So they're just running cover, man. Like, Oh my God, this is insane. These fucking chuckle fucks, this incestuous circle jerk of redax who are just out of touch, gross, and they're just utterly fucking biased and clearly on one fucking team, just trying to, like, they must all be on Tone's payroll. They must all be on his payroll. There's no other explanation for this. And then WB's like, no, it's not on Tone. And what happened? Did Tone fucking call up someone at WB and go, dude, please cover for me? And so Alfred Kunawa at This Is Nasty post, WBD did not have any involvement in Brody King's upcoming AEW schedule. Any speculation to the contrary is categorically false. Brody is scheduled to appear during the next AEW event, which will air this Saturday on TNT and HBO Max. So there you go. There's the quote. And then Eric Bischoff, Uncle Easy-E, responded and said, I'm one of a long list of industry veterans from different parts of the business, from different backgrounds and skill sets, and all with different accomplishments. The one thing we do have in common that this irrelevant, out-of-touch fraud is getting cooked, and it's entertaining to watch, is getting cooked. We cooked him. He's cooked. We've cooked his ass. And even Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer, Tryin' Brian, Dave made up his story in his vivid imagination. Turns out the reason Brody King wasn't on Dynamite was because he was in the air already on the flight. Australia, liar, pants on fire. And yeah, so Brian Alvarez, with credit, he was saying, yo, the person who's on a plane with him, I know someone who's on a plane with him. So again, who's talking to Brian? Like, well, I have friends. Okay, but you and Dave ruin and make AEW uncool. You guys ruin it and make it uncool. So maybe fucking stop just openly saying you're talking to people who work there. But anyways, he debunks it. Even Brian's trying on this one.
Personally, that's just how it is.
Because it's too humiliating. It's too humiliating, right? Like, Brian's already forced to go out there and humiliation ritual himself by shitting, like having faux outrage and shitting on NXT so much and being so triggered by Ava Raine. And now he's like, oh, fuck, Ava Raine's not in the Fed. Fucking 90% of my shtick is gone. What do I do, Daddy Dave? And he's a little whipping boy and a cuck. And he definitely gets humiliation ritualed like once a week with his NXT takes. But even this is too much for Bry, you know?
WBD issued the following statement Thursday afternoon. Warner Brothers Discovery did not have any involvement in Brody King's upcoming AEW schedule. Any speculation to the contrary is categorically false. Brody is scheduled to appear during the next AEW event, which will air this Saturday on TNT and HBO Max. So, all I can tell you is that this is not from Brody King, but it is from somebody who was on the flight with Brody King. The reason Brody King was not on the show last night was because he was in the air.
The problem with Dave too is that people are saying like he's just very anti-Trump and shit. And the problem with his like political thing, if you want to factor that in, is that him saying shit like, oh, they're leaning this way politically in entertainment. And he's saying it so long after like Nicolo Piccolo had a brilliant thread on that, and like a bunch of entertainment and, you know, the Hollywood Reporters and the Varieties and shit were already like writing about that stuff. And then just all this time later, he's saying this. And it's like, man, I don't even know if it's that. Like, you know, I think you're just making shit up and you're letting your fucking delusions take over. And you're just making any excuse to protect Tony's shit booking. Because he's about to announce, like he knew before all of this, he was about to announce that Tone was Booker of the fucking year. So he's just like trying to hide Tone's bad booking. And it's a mixture of all the stuff, right? But I just think it has a lot to do with like, because one of the criticisms is like, why isn't fucking Brody King and MJF on this show building up to the title match before you go to Australia? You couldn't even do a vignette. It's because Tone's a bad booker. He's not thinking about vignettes. He's sleeping in. He's waking up. He's not sleeping. And he's fucking quickly writing matches, phoning Dave saying, is this good? And then Dave goes, well, you should do this and this if you can, Tone. And then Tone's like, well, this person's not in town. So that's why there's no like good character building vignettes. When people are about to do returns, the wrestlers go independently shoot their own vignettes, pitch them to Tone. Then he uses them, doesn't even reimburse the talent. This is a shoot. And some of them don't care because they're like, well, my thing got fucking put on the air and I get to come back. Like Julia Hart and them went independent with their stuff. And then that's it. That's the only vignette. And you don't get that creativity again. And then there's no follow-up on those shits because it's Tone and his lack of like even thinking of how do we tell stories in and out of the ring and all of this stuff. It's just straight garbage.
Flying with a lot of the wrestlers to Australia. And that's why he wasn't on the show. So, I mean, I strongly suspect that WBD was not thrilled with the anti-ice chants on the show last week, but they are making it very clear.
And like Brian's just such a motherfucker too, because he goes, I strongly feel like I would strongly suggest, or what did he just say? Let's bring it back. I strongly believe that.
But they are making it very clear. The anti-ice chant, WBD was not I mean, I strongly suspect. Yeah. You're fooling no one, Bri. You're saying that you heard that they weren't happy with it, and because they weren't. They aren't. They don't like that political shit. They're trying not to isolate people and stuff now, which the media was hell-bent on doing it on both sides for so many fucking years there. It feels like. So hopefully we can just focus on entertainment, world wrestling entertainment. No, I'm joking. You fucking Mark. But like, everyone, let's just focus on making good shit again. But he's saying he strongly suspects. It's like, just say it. Just say it confidently that they don't like that shit. Stop trying to be all mysterious, you old fuck. Calls about who can and cannot be on television.
You old short fuck.
So I think the big question that I still have, which started this whole thing, is, all right, fine, they're both on a flight to Australia. Why was the only thing on the show a 30-second video package? I mean,
I fucking agree. I agree. Trying Brian is trying time and time again. That's why he has multiple nicknames when it comes to this stuff. So even Brian has to felt Dave from time to time. And that's why I will never stop trashing you, Dave Meltzer. You're a clown. You make shit up. You're deranged. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. We cook them, we bake, we roast them. I've been your host, Phil Marks. Make sure you check out patreon.com/. For more Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week. Scully Vibe's been a member for 21 months. These Observer Awards have been making me laugh so hard on X. Complete sweep of WWE bad, AEW good. No more Booker T slander. Hit the like. Thank you, Scully Vibes, as is, for checking in. And yeah, if you guys missed it, the first like hour of the show, hour and a half, was me ripping apart the Observer Awards. This has been Dave Meltzer, Dumb Moment of the Week. Again, I have been Phil Marks. Be good to yourselves and each other. Take care of each other, man. The world's fucking crazy right now. I get it. The madness of Dave Meltzer piling on top of just like the real world madness. Relax, hug your loved ones, have a good weekend, have a good Valentine's Day. I'll see you guys.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
As they did there, and
Dave?
they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.